Welcome to Infinite Novel. Dive into epic alternate realities. All rights to original creators.
Chapter 41 Buggy and Luffy go to sea together? Trafalgar Law, this Conqueror's Haki is really unfair. Capone Beeg, facing someone with Conqueror's Haki, the advantage in numbers no longer means anything. Eustace Kid, damn it. How can his Conqueror's Haki even split the ship? Don Quixote da Flamingo, foo. Conqueror's Haki, when trained to a certain level, can be transformed into substantial attacks. However, that is definitely as difficult as reaching the heavens. Eustace Kid, you also possess Conqueror's Haki, can you achieve that level? Don Quixote da Flamingo, are you kidding? If we don't count the entanglement of conquerors, the ability to turn mere intimidation into substantial attacks is currently only known to Red Hair Shanks. Eustace Kid, what? The difficulty is that high. Trafalgar Law, so you're saying there are two people over there who can achieve that level? Basil Hawkins, the talent of the Straw Hat Kid is incredibly terrifying. Monkey D, Garp, I can't take it anymore. The more I look at Luffy over there, the more I feel like my grandson is just wasting his time. Monkey D, Luffy. On the deck of the Buggy Pirates, Buggy is still holding his finger in the position of giving orders to Luffy. Sweat starts to pour down his forehead. This is Conqueror's Haki, and it's Conqueror's intimidation that can be transformed into substantial attacks. In this East Blue, ordinary pirates probably have no idea what Conqueror's Haki is, but Buggy has seen the New World when he was on Roger's pirate ship. Roger, Rayleigh, and Kojiki Oden all had Conqueror's Haki, and at that time, Shanks hadn't awakened his Conqueror's Haki. Buggy, who grew up in that kind of environment, how could he not know what Conqueror's Haki represents? Not to mention the Conqueror's intimidation that can be transformed into substantial attacks. A strong one. An absolute strong one. Just one glance, and Buggy instantly dispelled all thoughts of resistance in the face of such a strong opponent. Resistance is a joke. Just as Buggy didn't know what to say, his pupils suddenly contracted. His gaze instantly shifted to the straw hat on Luffy's head. Huh? This straw hat, why does it look so familiar? Soon, an image of a person who likes to wear a white shirt appeared in Buggy's mind. Shanks' straw hat? No, it can't be. Shanks' straw hat was given to him by Captain Roger. How could he give it to someone else? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Buggy immediately dismissed this absurd speculation. Let me introduce myself, I'm Monkey D. Luffy spoke up at this moment. Buggy also didn't dare to make any extreme movements, so he introduced himself as well. I am Buggy, the captain of the Buggy Pirates. Alright, Buggy, do you know about sailing? Luffy asked again. Upon hearing this, Buggy became excited. The expression on his face was full of pride. Ha. You've asked the right person. When I was young, I sailed in the latter half of the Grand Line. Later, our captain disbanded the pirate crew, and that's when I came to the East Blue from the Grand Line. If we're talking about sailing, I dare say that in this East Blue, no one knows more about sailing than me. Clap. Luffy slaps his thigh. Isn't this a coincidence? This is exactly the kind of talent he is looking for. He wants to improve his strength through battles with strong opponents, so he definitely needs to enter the Grand Line. And the person in front of him has experience in the Grand Line, isn't he the perfect guide? Of course, at this moment, Luffy has no intention of recruiting Buggy as a crewmate. He has witnessed the actions of Buggy's pirate crew just now, and he doesn't like this group of people. Right now, he only needs a guide who can lead them to the Grand Line, so his idea is to borrow the captain of Buggy's pirate crew. Once he finds a suitable navigator, he will let him go. Thinking of this, Luffy grins and says, that's great. I happen to need a guide. Please stay with me as the navigator for a while and help me navigate to the Grand Line. Confused face? Buggy's proud expression instantly freezes. Hey, don't joke around. Look at the size of my crew. What will happen to my brothers if I become your navigator? Buggy spreads his hands and looks at the pirates around him who have been knocked out by Conqueror's Haki. Luffy doesn't respond, but casually reveals his 8-pack ABS, still covered in the densest armament Haki imaginable. 3 drops of sweat slide down Buggy's temples. Luffy calmly looks at Buggy. What do you say? Any intention to change your mind? Buggy's face darkens. Damn it. With you like this, do I have the right not to change my mind? Buggy is not stupid. Of course he knows that if he doesn't agree, the consequences will be unimaginable. If you put it that way, I suddenly changed my mind. Grand Line, that's the dream place of my youth. It's been so many years, it's time to go back and take a look. Buggy finds a way out for himself. And so, Buggy takes his navigation chart and boards the small boat with Luffy. The scene ends here. The screen with the red border gradually fades. On the marine ship at Impel Down, Luffy looks surprised. Hey, Buggy, are you sailing with me over there? Buggy's speechless. I have eyes, I can see. Straw Hat Luffy, it seems that Captain Buggy over there has good intentions towards you. That Captain Buggy over there must have recognized the straw hat you're wearing, so he changed his mind and wanted to bring you into the Grand Line. The Grand Line. It's the dream place of all pirates. Captain Buggy actually personally became your guide to lead you into the Grand Line. It's so touching. That straw hat was given to Shanks by Pirate King Roger, so it seems that Captain Buggy must be reminded of his Captain Roger when he sees that straw hat. And now, that straw hat is worn by a young boy, so Captain Buggy is willing to lower himself and protect this young boy. Listening to the prisoners around him, Luffy alternates between a confused expression and nodding. Finally, he looks at Buggy. Buggy, I didn't expect you to be such a good person. Buggy's mouth twitches non-stop. Chapter 42 The Man Who Guards the Village. Nami, huh? Buggy over there actually followed Luffy. Trafalgar Law, Nami, being the navigator doesn't necessarily mean that. You over there might not necessarily be the navigator of the Straw Hat Pirate ship. Scratchman Apu Buggy replacing Nami as the navigator of the Straw Hat Pirates. Hey Papa. I think it's a good idea. Nami, no way. Hey, Red Border Luffy over there, you better step up. Nico Robin, Nami, don't worry. That won't happen. Luffy over there meant for Buggy to be a guide, not a crewmate. You'll definitely join the crew. Usopp, that's right, none of us will be left behind. Shanks, haha, Buggy and Luffy setting sail together, that's great. Buggy, watch your words, Shanks. I'm only escorting the Straw Hat Kid over there to the Grand Line because of Captain Roger's hat. Gold, Roger, wow. Little Buggy, I'm truly touched. At that moment, the screen with a white border lit up. Luffy, Zoro, and Nami arrived at the island of Rare Animal on 2 small boats, met Gaemon who stuck on a treasure chest, and then left the island. A few days later, the 3 arrived at the Syrup Village. Usopp makes an appearance. They unexpectedly exposed Captain Kuro's conspiracy and Usopp ran to the village to warn them. Listen to me, everyone. The pirates will attack the village tomorrow morning. Please believe me this time, everyone, quickly evacuate the village. Really? This time it's true. Why doesn't anyone believe me? Usopp ran around trying to save the people in the village. But the result was, if we believed you every time, we would have escaped hundreds of times already. Enough, Usopp. We're tired of your lies. Darn it, don't run. This time we'll teach you a lesson. The villagers chased after Usopp angrily with brooms, ladles, and dustpans. They stopped chasing after Usopp only when he ran out of the village. Tony Chopper, poor Usopp. Eustace kid, he can't even save himself, yet he's thinking about others. He's just asking for trouble. Marshall D, teach, Zay ha ha ha. Let those villagers die. Usopp, actually, it's not their fault. It's mainly because I always lie and deceive everyone by saying that pirates are coming. That's why the villagers don't believe me. Roronoa Zoro, it's true that we can't entirely blame those villagers. As someone who experienced this incident, Zoro can understand the villagers' actions. Nami, so this incident tells us that it's best not to lie so much, Trafalgar Law. So, in a fit of anger, Usopp left the village with the Straw Hat crew, right? Scratchman Apu, do you even need to ask? He kindly tried to save them, but they not only didn't appreciate it, they even drove him away. Anyone would be angry in that situation. Killer, those villagers deserve to die. Monkey D, Luffy, hey. You guys are underestimating Usopp too much. Usopp fled to the village entrance, leaving behind tears of loneliness and sadness. At this moment, the Straw Hat Pirates appeared behind him. Usopp sat dejectedly on the ground, his eyes blankly staring at the distant sea. I was so naive. I should have known, because I love lying so much, the villagers never truly believed me. Watching Usopp completely consumed by despair, the 3 members of the Straw Hat Pirates silently observed him. At this moment, Nami spoke up and asked, enough with that. The fact is, the pirates will really come tomorrow, right? Usopp wiped his face and sighed, yeah, they will definitely come. But no one believes it. They think tomorrow will be just like any other day, peaceful. So what's your plan now? Zoro calmly asked. At this moment, they were nothing more than passing strangers, at most acquaintances who exchanged a few words. Hearing this, Usopp looked lost. He helplessly gazed at the sea. Yes, what should he do? What can he do? Even if he has a plan, can he really make it happen? But those villagers have helped him so much since he was little. In Usopp's mind, memories of his growth over the past decade suddenly surfaced. When he was very young, his father ran away with a man with red hair just because of the words, the pirate flag is calling back. Not long after, his mother also passed away. Usopp was able to grow up thanks to the help of the villagers. No, he can't just watch them be killed by pirates. What's your plan? You're asking me what my plan is. Usopp repeated these words to himself, his eyes becoming clearer and clearer. Suddenly, he stood up abruptly, tightly gripping his right hand. My plan is, to confront the pirates here. This is the only path I can take as a liar. Even if they hit me with brooms and chase me away, this is still the village where I grew up. I love this village. I want to protect everyone. Although not particularly strong, Usopp's figure stood tall at this moment, looking towards the sea, the direction from which the pirate crew would arrive tomorrow. Behind him was the village he wanted to protect. A crescent moon hung on the horizon, casting a faint moonlight over the small village. The tranquil village was now filled with lights from countless homes. What they didn't know was that in this moment of tranquility, there was already a man guarding them. Chapter 43. Chapter 43. Didn't you agree to be a guide? Why do you force people to practice? Gold Roger, impressive. Luffy, this partner of yours is a true man. Watching the screen, Roger couldn't help but applaud. Marco, to protect the village you love, even if you know you're no match, you must be willing to risk your life. That's true protection. Edward Newgate, Gururarara. This kid is really something. Shanks, Usopp, that's your son, right? He really inherited your excellent genes. Usopp, no, I feel ashamed for Usopp. Although I'm proud of him, I don't have the right to say anything as a father. Usopp, Dad. Mom has never complained about you, and I'm proud of you too. On the Red Force, hearing Usopp's words, tears welled up in Usopp's eyes. He knew he hadn't fulfilled his duty as a father. He also believed in what Usopp had just said. He knew even more how kind his wife, Bankina, was. The more he felt this way, the more guilty he felt. Usopp, son. Usopp's choked words appeared in the chat room. Usopp, Dad. The next morning, the Black Cat Pirates attacked. Usopp, Luffy, Zoro, and Nami fought against the Black Cat Pirates. Although the process was difficult, the Straw Hat Pirates ultimately emerged victorious. Sitting on a severed stump, Usopp looked at Pepper, Carrot, Onion, the three brothers, and Kaya, and said, "Can we keep today's events a secret?" Upon hearing this, Kaya widened her eyes, all wide. "That's right. You fought to protect the village. Everyone will surely look at the captain with new eyes. You're the great hero of the village." Pepper, Carrot, and Onion, the three brothers, exclaimed in incomprehension. However, Usopp smiled. "There's no need to go out of our way to tell everyone what has already passed. It will only cause panic. If it weren't for today's events, pirates wouldn't have attacked this remote village, and the villagers were able to live in peace because of it. But, everyone misunderstood you before. Don't you want to clear up that misunderstanding?" Kaya looked at Usopp with concern. Usopp shrugged. "It's not really a misunderstanding. Besides, this time, I have indeed been lying every time. Adding one more lie won't affect how everyone sees me. If we try to clarify this misunderstanding and make everyone live in fear of pirate attacks in the future, it wouldn't be worth it." After spending another day in Syrup Village, the Straw Hat Pirates received a gift from Kaya going merry. Usopp successfully joined the crew, and the Straw Hat Pirates left Syrup Village. At this point, the large screen with a white border gradually dimmed. At this moment, Syrup Village. The villagers didn't have the privilege to speak in the chat room of the screen, but they could see the screen in the sky. When they learned the truth of that day, tears welled up in the eyes of the entire village. "This is so damn frustrating. What have we done to him? He risked his life to inform us with the determination to die, but we drove him away. We're not human at all." Although the large screen with a white border has dimmed, the figure of the young man who fought alone to protect the village is engraved in the minds of every villager in Syrup Village. This guilt and self-blame are enough to make many people, when they suddenly wake up in their sleep, can't help but give themselves a big slap. Soon the red border gradually brightened. The scene appeared. A small boat sailing on the sea. Straw Hat, you're clearly only in your teens. Why are you so strong? On the deck, Buggy looked at Luffy, who was practicing swordsmanship, and couldn't help but ask the doubts in his heart. Practice. Luffy's sword training did not stop, calmly saying, "When I was a child, I witnessed too many life and death battles on my grandfather's ship. At that time, I understood that if I didn't want to become someone else's victim, so I had to become the strongest." The strongest. Hearing Luffy's impressive idea in a calm tone, Buggy was greatly shocked. No wonder this guy already has such a powerful conqueror's haki at this age. Turns out he has such great ambition. What about you? Aren't you just idling around on the sea? Why don't you practice? Come, let's practice together. Luffy turned to Buggy and proposed. However, Buggy shook his head. "No need, I'm different from you guys. I have my devil fruit power. My way of training is not something you can understand." When it comes to training, Buggy has had enough since he arrived in East Blue. Training is so tiring, especially in a small place like East Blue. He can already dominate with the power of the devil fruit. Why bother with training? Just lie down and be carefree. Of course, he can't say that, so he simply came up with an excuse to fool Luffy. However, Luffy sneered, "Cut it out. Even if it's devil fruit power, training is still the most important thing. Build the prototype of the technique with a rich imagination, then try to put it into practice, and finally develop this ability through countless training. That's the way to train devil fruit power, right?" "What?" Listening to Luffy's words, Buggy was dumbfounded. He looked at Luffy with a bewildered expression. Hey, how do you know so clearly about the training methods of ability users? Could it be that you're also an ability user?" "Of course. Who isn't an ability user?" Luffy grabbed his own face and pulled hard. "See, I'm a rubber fruit user. So, your excuse just now can't fool me. Come, let's train together." "Not." Buggy was about to say something when suddenly he felt an extremely terrifying oppressive force enveloping him. It was as if countless terrifying killers had instantly surrounded him, but without directly touching him. Obviously, this was Luffy's conqueror's haki. And it was that kind of super precise conqueror's haki that perfectly surrounded Buggy. "Ha!" Buggy's face froze. "Didn't we agree that I would be the guide? Why are you forcing him to train?" Chapter 44 Buggy's training method. Shanks, ha. Look at Buggy's expression over there. It's so funny. Nami, he probably never imagined that Luffy over there not only holds himself to high standards, but also holds those around him to high standards. Silver's Rayleigh. Speaking of which, Buggy's potential is actually quite high, but it seems like he hasn't been very motivated since Roger's death. Let's see how far Buggy over there can reach with Luffy pushing him to train. Edward Newgate. Buggy's talent is indeed not weak. Although I've only fought him once, I still have some judgment. Gold Roger, it should be considered lucky for little Buggy over there to encounter Straw Hat Luffy. I'm genuinely happy for him. Buggy. Why am I being forced to train like this? Buggy is completely confused right now. He's naturally lazy, otherwise he wouldn't have made such little progress in strength over the years. At this moment, he's like a child who doesn't like studying, being forced by a teacher with a stick to study. That feeling, it's really uncomfortable. Although Buggy wants to refuse, he ultimately succumbs to the intimidation of Luffy's conqueror's haki. However, he's not giving up yet, wanting to struggle a bit more. "It's not that I don't want to train, it's just that my devil fruit development has hit a bottleneck, and I don't have a direction for training," Buggy explains. Luffy looks over. "Then tell me, what's the situation with your devil fruit?" "I have the split fruit ability. Even if I'm cut by a sword, I won't be injured." "Look." Buggy demonstrates the split fruit ability. After the demonstration, Luffy rubs his chin, pondering for a moment, and says, so, if you're struck by a sharp weapon, no matter how many times, you'll passively be cut and separated, even if it's 1,000 or 10,000 cuts, right? That's right. But I can only split passively, I can only split from each joint actively. Buggy nods, then spreads his hands, so, you see, I've already developed this devil fruit to its ultimate, there's nothing more to train, right? Let me think. Luffy doesn't rush to a conclusion, he seriously contemplates. When I was training with the rubber fruit before, at the beginning, many parts of my body could only passively bear the characteristics of the rubber fruit, unable to actively utilize them. For example, if someone punched me, because of the rubber properties of my body, it would dent, reducing the destructive power of the punch. But I couldn't actively extend the area that was hit, thus further weakening the destructive power of the punch. But he broke through this bottleneck through extensive training. The training method was simple and crude. Luffy tamed a group of monkeys and had them continuously punch him. When their fists landed on him, he tried to actively extend. At first, it didn't have much effect, but after months of accumulated training, Luffy successfully took the first step, and then it was like an experienced driver, becoming smoother and smoother. I have a solution. Luffy slaps his thigh suddenly, startling Buggy. Ah, why are you so jumpy? You scared me, Buggy says with a grimace. Swish. In the midst of Buggy's confusion, Luffy directly cuts off Buggy's forearm with a single slash. Hey, what are you doing? Faced with Luffy's sudden attack, Buggy's expression changes, and he immediately jumps back. At the same time, he also gains a clearer understanding of the gap in strength between the two. This sword is so fast that he can't dodge it at all. Swish, 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 swish. Luffy didn't answer, the sword in his hand continuously slashed out phantom after phantom, instantly cutting Buggy's forearm into 17 or 18 pieces. Buggy's eyes widened even bigger than coins. Is this Straw Hat Kid crazy? Gold Roger, put. Ha 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 ha. Kojiki Odin, hey, Buggy's expression is as wonderful as ever. Buggy, damn it. What is that Straw Hat Kid doing over there? Wasn't he supposed to be training? Why did he suddenly attack? Shanks, is it possible that what he's actually doing is related to your training? Shiki, it's not impossible. Buggy's devil fruit ability is splitting. I think that red border Luffy over there is studying Buggy's ability, researching Buggy's training method. Frankie, studying directly on Buggy's body. Why does it sound a bit tragic? Haha. Roronoa Zoro, although it's a bit tragic, it's for Buggy's own good. It doesn't matter if it's a bit tough. Because Buggy is a user of the split fruit ability, the dozen or so severed forearms are all floating in the air. Luffy pointed to two of them and said, put these two together. Although Buggy was very unhappy, he still did as he was told. When the two sliced forearms approached each other, they automatically became a whole. Luffy then said, separate the two forearms that were just put together. Idiot. Didn't I say it? Only the joints can be split passively. I can't split them apart actively. As if venting his dissatisfaction, Buggy took the opportunity to lecture Luffy loudly. Luffy ignored his emotions and pointed to two other pieces, saying, bring these two closer together, and when they are about to become a whole, control them to pull apart again. Seeing that Luffy completely disregarded his opinion, Buggy reluctantly said, I'll give it a try. Finally, he began to control the two slices to come closer together. Snap! When the two slices reached a certain distance, it was as if two magnets instantly attracted each other and became a whole. Buggy shook his head. No, once they reach the maximum distance, they automatically come together and can't be pulled apart at all. Then let's try again. When you find the critical distance for them to come together, we'll move on to the next stage of training. Saying that, Luffy threw a sword in front of Buggy. I still have to train myself, so you handle the slicing. What? Looking at the sword thrown in front of him, Buggy felt like he was going crazy. Forcing him to train is one thing, but now he has to slice himself? This guy, he's not human at all. Chapter 45, Chapter 45 Real Physical Attack. Ignoring Tsuru, the training method that Red Border Luffy gave Buggy seems quite good. Sengoku, indeed, to be able to come up with a devil fruit training method in such a short time, his talent is truly terrifying. Borsalino, luckily, our Straw Hat Kid on this side isn't that diligent, otherwise it would be troublesome. Monkey D, Garp, this useless brat. Jinbei, seeing it now, I wonder why I feel like that Buggy over there might actually succeed in his training. Nami, your feeling is correct, because Luffy has a certain quality that can make his companions become better and better. That Red Border Luffy over there not only has this quality, but also holds himself and his companions to high standards. Under such conditions, if Buggy still hasn't succeeded, then he's really pathetic. Buggy, damn it, Nami. Watch your words. Nami, I'm talking about that Buggy over there. Why are you getting worked up? Buggy. Several days pass, the ship sails on the sea. If there are no mistakes, we should arrive at this coastline in at most 2 days. We need to resupply somewhere before we can continue sailing. Buggy points at a small village marked on the navigation map, Syrup Village. Luffy nods and throws a sword to Buggy. Alright, put away the navigation map and continue training. Buggy's face instantly becomes as ugly as if he had eaten shit training again. Buggy's head starts to ache just from hearing it. So, he struggles again. No, I simply can't understand. Even if I succeed in my training, what difference would it make? It seems like it wouldn't be of much use. This passive separation is used for countering sword attacks, but if it's active separation, unless it's at the joints, there's no way to fix the weapon for an attack. I can't just use pieces of my body as shuriken to kill targets, right? Buggy looks miserable, struggling and trembling. Luffy puts his right thumb into his mouth, lightly jumps, and then blows hard. Whoosh, his right fist instantly becomes as big as a large water barrel. Hey! In Buggy's shocked and angry gaze, Luffy's fist smashes into Buggy. Boom. Buggy's body is sent flying into the sea. Luffy extends his arm and pulls Buggy back from above the sea surface. You bastard, can't we just talk? Why do you have to resort to violence? Buggy is about to explode with anger, but he can do nothing. Luffy gestures with his fist. You saw it too. Your passive separation can ignore slashes, but it can't ignore punches. Buggy is furious, but what does this have to do with training? Even if I train to have active separation, won't I still get hit? Luffy shakes his head, walks to a corner, and takes a handful of sand from a sandbag, gently tossing it. Then he punched the pile of sand. His first went through the sand, which fell to the ground. Although it scattered, it was still sand. The initial step of practicing the ability to split and slice is just the beginning. My ultimate idea is for your splitting ability to be as powerful as this sand. By then, whether it's a slash or a punch, you can ignore it and achieve true physical attack immunity. When Luffy said this, the chat room exploded. Damn! Borsalino, wow, that red border Luffy over there has something. Just after encountering a devil fruit, he can think of such a powerful development direction. Impressive. Kyuzen, if a person with the split fruit ability can really split to the extent of sand, wouldn't it be similar to our Logia elementalization? Sakazuki, no. Logia elementalization can ignore physical attacks, but it can be captured by armament haki. However, his ability to split into sand can even greatly weaken the effects of armament haki attacks. Dracul Mihawk, when the attack lands on him, it immediately scatters into sand, without receiving much force damage. Gol D Roger. Buggy, you should give it a try too. If you really master it, you will be invincible. Shanks, yes, Buggy, the training idea provided by Luffy over there is really great. True physical attack immunity. Listening to Luffy's idea, Buggy's heart couldn't help but beat faster. He stared at the sand on the ground. Can it really reach that level? If his splitting ability reaches that level, how many threats to his existence will there be on this vast sea? That bastard Shanks is already one of the 4 emperors on the sea, while he is just a small pirate in the East Blue. Since the news of Shanks becoming one of the 4 emperors spread across the sea, Buggy has always felt a sense of desolation when thinking about this comparison. It's like working together with a brother, and now he drives a Land Rover while you ride a small electric scooter, and it's secondhand. How can you not feel crushed? And now, Buggy's breathing became more and more rapid as he stared at the sand on the ground. If he can really reach that level, he, Buggy, will also become a famous figure on this vast sea. Shanks, just you wait, Buggy, won't be any worse than you. Thinking of this, Buggy squatted down, carefully gathered the scattered sand on the ground, put it in a bag, and hung it around his waist. Straw Hat. Although I'm actually not happy with you, from now on, I will train according to the method you mentioned. I once planned a lofty goal for myself, but when I started to become decadent, that ideal version of myself gradually drifted away from me. Now I have to double my efforts, not for anything else, just to catch up with that version of myself that once existed in my ideals. There was a firmness in Buggy's eyes. He bent down, picked up the sword on the ground, and without hesitation, he slashed towards himself. Chapter 46, Prodigal. Do you know how much these pirates are worth? Shanks, great, Buggy over there is going to make progress. Silver Rayleigh, I hope Buggy over there can show us the limit of the split fruit. Crocus, the determination in his eyes when he bent down to pick up the sword just now was extraordinary. Gol D Roger. Hey. Little Buggy, you better work hard over there. You need to put in effort too. Buggy, Captain, I will. If someone else said this, Buggy definitely wouldn't care about them. But since Roger said it, Buggy still has to respond. 2 days later, the small boat arrived at Syrup Village. Zoro's training also brought good news. His observation haki has finally officially started. Luffy, this feeling is really amazing. After officially starting his observation haki, Zoro seemed to have opened a door to the new world. Compared to now, he felt that his previous battles were like being a blind and deaf person. Now, he is a person with all 5 senses intact. Encountering fellow pirates. As soon as the 3 of them docked the small boat, Buggy turned his head and saw a pirate ship emerging from the cliff on the other side, heading towards them. Zoro looked at the scene around him and frowned. These pirates, how did they come to such a remote place? Luffy casually said, maybe they're just passing by, let's not bother with them. Let's go buy supplies in the village. The 3 of them got off the boat and walked up a long slope. Hey, stop. A pirate wearing a cat mask jumped down from the pirate ship and stood in front of Luffy and the others. He looked arrogant, sneering at the 3 of them. Seeing the Jolly Roger of our Black Cat Pirates, you still dare to move around? Did you think you could just leave? With the Black Cat Pirates pirate ship docking, a large number of pirates wearing various cat masks and cat paws rushed over and surrounded the 3 of them. What's going on? Didn't the captain tell us to hide and wait for his message? What are you guys doing? The crowd of pirates parted, and a man in a suit with heart-shaped glasses walked over. This is Django, the vice captain of the Black Cat Pirates. Vice Captain, we were planning to hide here, but we ran into these 3 people, explained Buzzy, a fighter of the Black Cat Pirates. However, when Django's gaze fell on those 3 people, he suddenly froze. Buggy. Being from the East Blue, Django naturally recognized Buggy at a glance. Since you know this great me, you better get lost, Buggy said impatiently. Facing Buggy, Django was still a little flustered, but it wasn't to the extent of a mouse seeing a cat. He was thinking that Buggy's bounty is 15 million berries bounties, while their Black Cat Pirates captain, Kuro, has a bounty of 16 million berries. In terms of combat power, Buggy and Kuro are probably evenly matched. Although their captain just went into the village, Buggy is still alone. The two little guys next to Buggy, who looked like interns, were automatically ignored by Django, so Django straightened his collar, pulled himself together, and said, "Sorry. Our captain has important business in this village. Buggy, please give me, Django, some face and leave on your own. Give him face?" Damn it. Buggy was infuriated when he heard this, because Shanks likes to say this catchphrase. If it were a normal situation, Buggy wouldn't have clashed with so many pirates on his own, but now he has Luffy, a big backer by his side, naturally giving him confidence. "Who do you think you are? You dare to talk about face with this lord?" Without hesitation, Buggy's hand flew out and swiftly grabbed Django by the neck, lifting him up. "You bastard, you're asking for death. Attack! Save the vice captain. He dares to be so arrogant while alone, let's scratch him to death." Seeing this, the pirates of the Black Cat Pirates around them all brandished their weapons and charged forward. Crash! Luffy's Conqueror's haki leaked out slightly, causing these pirates to faint on the ground, foaming at the mouth. Buggy retracted his hand and forcefully pressed Django's head onto the ground. Boom! Django immediately lost consciousness. Buggy clapped the dust off his gloves and disdainfully said, "What a bunch of ignorant fools." Then, he looked at Luffy and asked, "Should we kill them?" Luffy furrowed his brows and pondered for a moment. Having witnessed countless life and death battles since he was a child, he naturally knew that this world was cruel. Once you become enemies, it's either you die today or I perish tomorrow. Just as he was about to agree with Buggy's suggestion, Zoro suddenly shouted, "Hey, isn't what you guys are doing too wasteful?" Upon hearing this, both Buggy and Luffy showed puzzled expressions. How did killing pirates become associated with wastefulness? Zoro pointed at the group of pirates and shouted, "Do you know how much these pirates are worth when added together?" As a bounty hunter who had been forced into the trade, Zoro had spent 4 years in the bounty career. He could instantly recognize the value of each person in the crowd. Although the rest of the pirates had bounties averaging only a few 100,000 berries per person, when added together, it was still a considerable sum. Zoro made a hand gesture of money to Luffy and Buggy, and said seriously, "This is at least a bounty of 50 million berries. Hiss! Buggy couldn't help but inhale sharply. He had never realized before that pirates were worth so much money. Luffy's heart couldn't help but race. 50 million berries. How much meat could that buy? Thinking of this, Luffy suddenly slapped his thigh and excitedly looked at Zoro. "So, we're going to get rich?" "Yeah, we're going to get rich. Ha ha ha." A path to wealth was clearly presented before the two of them. Comment Chapter 47. Chapter 47 Following Zoro and Nami, Usopp also eats Luffy's Conqueror's haki. Vinsmoke Sanji, Green Algae Head, "You're quite skilled at this." Roronoa Zoro, Idiot Curly Brow. "Isn't that a reasonable approach?" Nico Robin, Ahaha. Zoro over there isn't wrong. If we were to kill that large group of pirates, there would be no benefits. Instead, selling them to the Marines would maximize our profits. Nami, that's right. It's 15 million berries. Ah, why didn't we do this back then? So much money, so much money. Usopp, where would pirates sell other pirates? If we went to the Marine base, they would definitely capture us too. Nami, oh right, well, I feel better now. Monkey D, Luffy, I'm not a pirate over there yet, so it seems fine to exchange pirates for bounties, right? Roronoa Zoro, that's right. With me, the bounty hunter, this will definitely be done beautifully. Ding! Entering the prize question section. At this moment, a question appeared on the big screen. Question, how much total bounty did Luffy and the others exchange for these pirates? A. 91.5 million berries. B. 79 million berries. C. 72.3 million berries. D. 65 million berries. E. 60.9 million berries. Gold Roger O? Another question. Too bad I got the previous one wrong. I have to carefully consider this one. Rox D. Xebec, what the hell kind of question is this? Just a row of numbers, it's all guesswork. Shiki, there's no way to analyze this question, only rely on luck. I'll wait for the next one. Charlotte Linlin, I didn't answer the previous question, I'll just guess this time. Kaido, I can guess too. Sengoku, I got the previous question right, there's still a chance to guess on this one. Maybe I can get another reward. Rox D. Xebec, you're dreaming. Sengoku, hee hee, Rox, envy me. Amidst the chaotic arguing in the chat room, the 5-second penalty protection period for answering the question passed. Sengoku, I choose D. Zoro just said that these pirates are worth at least over 60 million berries, and option D is the closest. Charlotte Linlin, D. I also think it's the answer. Akoku, D. Kaido, you. I was about to choose D too. Akoku, stupid Kaido, who would give you the reward that's already in hand. Kaido, just wait. I'll twist off your head sooner or later. Suru, I'll choose E. Jun, Kyujaku, don't just stand there. If you didn't answer the previous question, you can guess on this one, don't waste the opportunity. Jun, alright, I'll choose E too. It's also possible. Kyujaku, E, I'll go with Jun's choice. Sengoku Kyuzen, you can't just sit on your answer opportunity, guess randomly. After several consecutive questions, Sengoku had already noticed some clues. These quiz, with only a few clues, are almost impossible to deduce the correct answer with 100% certainty. Instead of waiting for the next question, it's better to just guess, because the next question is probably also one that cannot be determined with a high probability. Kyuzen, C. Borsalino, then I'll choose B. Sakazuki, C. Saint Shepherd Jew Peter, A. Trafalgar Law, choose C. Usopp, B. Just guess. Tony Chopper, A. I'll guess too. Don Quixote da Flamingo, A. Since it's all guessing, it doesn't matter if I guess every other question. Monkey D. Dragon, B. Hee. Even someone who claims to be a god has to participate in the quiz. Saint Shepherd Jew Peter, it's not your turn to manage this matter. Balo Betty, tisk. What an attitude. Let me guess, you 5 old men are now being suppressed by the screen and can't do anything. Lindbergh, used to calling yourselves gods, but now that you've encountered real deities, how are you being suppressed? Ha. It's really funny. Saint Marcus Mars, stop gloating. You Revolutionary Army insects are just bugs living in the cracks. You're still alive because we can't be bothered to deal with you seriously. As the 5 elders, the Revolutionary Army, and the top brass of the Marines all left the scene one after another, the chat room quickly turned into a high-level verbal battle. No one else spoke and happily enjoyed the show. Luffy and his 2 companions found a rope on the Black Cat pirate ship and tied all the pirates together. It must be said that Zoro is indeed an experienced bounty hunter. His method of tying people up is quite impressive. These pirates were divided into groups of 5, with everyone's hands tied behind their backs and then tied together. Even if they wanted to escape, they couldn't run quickly. You're quite professional at this. Buggy looked at the groups of pirates tied up in front of him and couldn't help but give Zoro a thumbs up. Zoro smiled and said, it's just something I've accumulated over time, nothing special. After driving all these pirates to the bottom of the ship, Luffy released his Conqueror's Haki again. Based on the amount of Conqueror's Haki controlled by Luffy, it was definitely no problem for these pirates to sleep for 10 hours collectively. Returning to the shore, Zoro pointed his finger at the cliff above the hill. Someone ran away from there just now. Not bad. It seems like your observation haki is not only at the beginner level but also built on a solid foundation. Luffy smiled and nodded. That should be just a villager who came here to see. He was lying there watching the whole process and has now run back to the village. Hearing this, Zoro frowned slightly. What if that guy goes back to the village and spreads rumors? What if the villagers mistake us for bad guys? Luffy thought for a moment and nodded. Makes sense. Then let him take a little nap. Conqueror's Haki was instantly released. The powerful deterrent force formed a line and instantly crossed the hill in front, catching up to a teenager holding a slingshot. Bang! 16-year-old Usopp's eyes rolled back, and he fell to the ground. Chapter 48 Pa! When Usopp, who had just appeared on the screen, was knocked down by Luffy's Conqueror's Haki without saying a word, the audience couldn't help but burst into laughter. Scratchman Apu, Ape Papa. Is that Straw Hat Kid treating Conqueror's Haki as a mark of friendship? As long as they're his teammates, he uses Conqueror's Haki on them first. Trafalgar Law, ha. I was just about to say that this is hilarious. So far, except for the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates, all the members who have appeared have fallen victim to the captain's Conqueror's Haki. Eustace Kid, but Buggy didn't get hit, right? Capone Big, so he's still not Luffy's ally, huh? Eustace Kid. Vinsmoke Sanji, poor Usopp, he got knocked down right after appearing. Roronoa Zoro, compared to me and Nami, he's definitely unlucky. Usopp, damn it, Zoro, how dare you say that? If it weren't for your lousy idea, Luffy wouldn't have used Conqueror's Haki to knock me out, would he? Nami, ahahaha, that's the Zoro over there, don't blame our Zoro. Vinsmoke Sanji, Nami-chan, don't defend that idiotic moss-head Roronoa Zoro. Shut up, stupid curly brow. Tony Chopper, that's so unfortunate. It'll be my turn soon, too. I hope I won't get knocked out as well. Vinsmoke Sanji, huh? It seems like it's my turn next. I really don't want to look like a fool foaming at the mouth. Luffy, Zoro, and Buggy walk up the hill and soon see Usopp lying on the ground. Luffy, seeing this, flips Usopp over and places him on the grass in a sleeping position. They arrive in a small town and start buying supplies. Because of Luffy, their main purchases are meat. Dear customers, our shop has limited supplies, so this is all we can sell to you. I still need to run my business. The restaurant owner hands a large package of cured meat to Luffy with a smile on his face. Luffy looks at the package of meat and realizes it's not enough for him to eat for 3 days, but once the ship sets sail, they'll be drifting at sea for a month. This little bit of meat won't be enough. Dear customers, if you still want to buy a large amount of meat, I can recommend a place to you. The shop owner takes a few steps outside and points to the roof of a mansion in the distance, saying, see that? That's the richest family in our village, and they have abundant resources. You can go ask them if they're willing to sell. You can buy as much as you want. That's great. Thank you, Uncle. Upon hearing this news, Luffy is very happy. He suddenly remembers something and asks, by the way, Uncle, where can I buy a good ship in this village? Their current ship is too small. According to Buggy, it will be smashed by the waves before they even reach the Grand Line. Although there is a pirate ship from the Black Cat Pirates at the shore, Luffy doesn't want to use a ship from such a notorious pirate crew. If they use that ship to go out to sea, wouldn't they inexplicably be targeted by Marines' cannons every time they dock at a port? Even though they haven't done anything wrong, because of that pirate ship, they must bear the crimes committed by the Black Cat Pirates. Isn't that like having yellow mud smeared in their crotch? As for the money, he and Zoro only have a little over 3 million berries, while Buggy brought several million berries when he came. But just now, they confiscated over 10 million berries from the Black Cat pirate ship. With all this money combined, it's enough to buy a decent ship. Buy a ship. The restaurant owner was slightly stunned, then pointed to that mansion that's perfect. Hearing this, Luffy happily bid farewell to the restaurant owner. The three of them walked to the front of the mansion. Buggy patted the large bag of money on his back and frowned, saying, "Why do we have to bring so much money with us? If we want a ship, why don't we just steal one?" Luffy and Zoro both looked at Buggy at the same time. Cough cough. With a twitch at the corner of his mouth, Buggy coughed twice guiltily, then looked away. Kaya's parents were in business and were naturally delighted to receive customers when they heard that someone wanted to purchase a large amount of meat. Accompanied by several servants, Kaya's father smiled and greeted Luffy and the others. "I heard from the gatekeeper that you want to buy meat. So, how much do you need in total?" Luffy gestured with both hands. "The more, the better. By the way, we also want to buy a bigger ship." Kaya's father was about to speak, but then he heard the voice of the butler Mary from behind. "Master, Mr. Claudor, whom you have taken in, has fully recovered. I told him to rest a little longer, but he insisted on coming to thank you immediately." Subconsciously, everyone looked towards Mary. Beside Mary stood a refined man. He wore glasses, a black suit, and had a big pompadour hairstyle, giving him the appearance of an honest person. But the moment he saw Buggy, his heart suddenly tightened. Damn it! How could he be here? Buggy also saw Kuro at the same time, and his face was filled with confusion. How did the captain of the Black Cat Pirates end up being taken in by ordinary people? And he wants to thank them? Would a notorious pirate who kills people left and right say thank you? Am I dreaming today or what? Suddenly, Buggy exclaimed in disbelief, "Kuro? What kind of act are you putting on?" Chapter 49. Chapter 49. No wonder there is no answer to this question. Shiki, ha ha ha. Poor Kuro. Just when he was about to succeed after infiltrating White Border Luffy's side for 3 years, he was ruined by Luffy. Now, on Red Border Luffy's side, his plan has just begun and he encounters Red Border Luffy. It's destined for him to be taken care of by Luffy. Gol D Roger, this guy is really unfortunate. Kojiki Oden, compared to that, Kuro on the other side is considered lucky. It's better to have the plan exposed from the beginning than to suffer for 3 years, right? Edward Newgate, that's not necessarily true. At least on this side, Kuro was only chased away by Luffy. On the other side, Luffy has discovered a path to make a fortune. Shanks, in Red Border Luffy's eyes, Kuro on the other side is a pile of thick berry. He's definitely not getting away. Sengoku, Monkey D. Garp, what's wrong? Did your hemorrhoids suddenly flare up? Gol D. Roger, you're a Marine Fleet Admiral after all. Why are you so jumpy? Sengoku, damn it. I was wondering why the answer to the previous question hasn't appeared yet. Damn it, it's because of this reason. Charlotte Linlin, Shiki, Linlin, you. Charlotte Linlin, shut up. Edward Newgate, I understand now too. Based on the situation, Kuro will probably be caught by Red Border Luffy and they'll exchange him for a bounty, right? Akoku, damn it, no way. If that's the case, Kuro, as a captain, should have a bounty of at least 16 million berry, and those trash earlier had bounties of at least 50 million berry. That immediately rules out options D and E. Damn it, I chose D. Kyuzen, so, it means my choice of C might be the correct answer. Sakazuki, good. I also chose C. Trafalgar Law, could it be that I'll get a second reward? Borsalino, hey, don't jump to conclusions so quickly. Maybe this Kuro has a bounty close to 20 million berry? Then wouldn't my option B be the correct answer? Usopp, B. It must be B. Monkey D. Dragon, if it's B, that would be great. Kuro? What play are you acting in? Buggy looked at Kuro, who had a harmless appearance, with a confused expression on his face. Kuro? Everyone present was stunned, then looked at Kuro. Hey, stranger, did you mistake someone? My name is Claudor, not whatever Kuro you said. Kuro didn't want his plan to be ruined like this, so he could only pretend. To ease the shock from earlier, he raised his hands and adjusted his glasses with his palm. However, this one action confirmed Buggy's suspicion. Buggy sneered, I can't be wrong. You're Kuro, the captain of the Black Cat Pirates, with a bounty of 16 million berry. Your glasses adjustment is exactly like that because you have a combat weapon called espada. How could? Mr. Red Nose, are you mistaken? Claudor is a castaway we rescue, how could he be a pirate? Kaya's father asked anxiously. Who are you calling a red nose? Being touched on a sore spot, Buggy's eyes suddenly turned fierce. Kaya's father took a few steps back in fear. Kuro saw this and was overjoyed. Good, the opportunity has come. He immediately supported Kaya's father and said, Sir, I don't know this person and I don't know who this Kuro is that he mentioned. Kaya's father nodded repeatedly, yes, I can tell, he must be the pirate. Hee, I'm really sorry. Since I've been in East Blue, I naturally have the habit of collecting bounties of well-known pirates in East Blue. Buggy's mouth curled up, and then he took out a binder filled with wanted posters cut out from newspapers and bound together. He casually flipped through a couple of pages and found Kuro's wanted poster, then turned towards Kaya's father and said, Here, take a look for yourself. When they saw Kuro's face on the wanted poster, Kaya's father and the servants all showed expressions of fear. Instinctively, they all moved away from Kuro. Damn it. Kuro's face turned dark and he stared at Buggy, taking a deep breath. Buggy, pirates of our level never interfere with each other. I don't know what medicine you took today, but you've come looking for trouble with me. Kuro's knees buckled and he fell to the ground. Clang! Espada's cat claws instantly popped out from her specially made gloves. Do you know? I've planned for a long time. Originally, I planned to legally take over all the wealth of this mansion, but now, at this point, Kuro's expression became extremely fierce. You've ruined everything. Fine. Since it's fate, I'll kill everyone here and continue to search for the next suitable target. As he spoke, Kuro's arm swung slightly, like a pendulum. Nukiashi, I've heard of it. By using high-speed movement and the cat claws on your hands, you can instantly kill a large number of people around you. It's so fast that you don't even know who you'll cut. Buggy smirked slightly and then shook his head. Too bad, slashing won't work on me. Whether it works or not, you won't know until you try. Nukiashi. With a low roar, Kuro's figure instantly disappeared from where he was. Boom. With a loud crash, Kuro hit the wall and then slowly slid to the ground like a piece of mud. Sorry, it seems like I broke your wall. Luffy retracted his fist and apologized to Keiya's father. Keiya's father was still in a daze. He didn't see any of the fighting process, he only knew that Kuro wanted to kill them all, and then he passed out. But when he saw Luffy retracting his fist, he could guess that this guy with the straw hat had taken action. Only then did he react and quickly said gratefully, "Thank you. Thank you for saving us." "It's nothing, just a small favor." Luffy smiled slightly and then looked at Zoro. "Quick, this guy is worth 16 million. Alright." Zoro smiled knowingly, a chance to make money. Chapter 50, Chapter 55. Bailey bought the Mary. Sengoku, how despicable. Just as I suspected. Rocks D, Xebec, ha. Seeing Sengoku the old dog like this makes me happier than receiving a reward myself. Sengoku, get lost. Kyuzin, if we calculate it like this, our bounties, 72.3 million berries, must be incorrect too. Sakazuki, we were so close. Borsalino, no worries, I'm still here. With my 60 million berries, plus 16 million berries, it's definitely option B. Usopp, that's great. I also chose option B. Monkey D, Dragon option B is 79 million berries, while option A is 91.5 million berries, so it must be option B. Emporio Ivankov, that's fantastic. Congratulations, leader. Balo Betty, I wonder what kind of reward the leader received. Lindbergh, no matter what the reward is, it will surely elevate the leader's strength. Monkey D, Luffy, Usopp also received a reward, that's awesome. Nami, I hope everyone in the Straw Hat Pirates gets a reward too. To express their gratitude to Luffy and the others, Keiya's parents prepared a lavish banquet to thank them. The supplies they originally planned to purchase were generously given to them by Keiya's parents. You guys want to buy a ship? Hearing Luffy's request, Keiya's father called the butler Mary over. Aren't we currently building a ship? Yes, sir. Last month, you mentioned that the trading fleet needed an additional ship, so I personally designed the Going Merry. It will be completed in 3 days at most, the butler Mary replied. Hearing this, Keiya's father's face showed a satisfied smile. Then, he asked Mary to bring the Going Merry's blueprints and place them in front of Luffy. He held Luffy's hand and generously said, "The Going Merry will be finished in 3 days, and you happen to need a ship. It seems that you and the Going Merry have a special fate." Really? That's great. A new ship is about to be completed, and Luffy is extremely excited. After all, who would like second-hand goods? Uncle, how much does this ship cost? Name your price. I have over 20 million berries on hand, and if it's not enough, I'll go collect the bounties from those pirates and pay you later. With money in his pocket, Luffy speaks with confidence. Keiya's father extended his right hand and spread out his 5 fingers. 50 million berries. Seeing this number, Buggy immediately frowned. To be honest, this price is definitely expensive. The other party extended 5 fingers, so it couldn't be 500,000. From the blueprints, the value of this ship is at least 30 million berries or more. Alright. 15 million it is. Luffy has no idea about the price and happily agrees. Seeing Luffy's business talent, Keiya's father chuckled. No. It can't possibly be 50 million, is it 500,000? Buggy beside him opened his mouth wide. Wow, this is too cheap. However, thinking about how Luffy just saved the other person's life, this might be their way of expressing gratitude. But this discount is really too exaggerated. It doesn't even cover the cost. Keiya's father smiled and said, "No, it's 5 berries. 5 berries." Luffy, Zoro, and Buggy all widened their eyes at the same time. Keiya's father smiled and said, "Ahaha, this ship is priced at 5 berries. If you want this ship, you'll have to spend 5 berries to buy it." "Great. I'll buy it." Luffy decisively took out a 5-berry coin. "Cavendish, what's the difference between this and a gift? It would have been fine to just give it directly. Is this person crazy?" Capone Big, yeah, it's really unnecessary. Gold Roger, no. This is sincerity. Luffy spending money means that he bought the ship, and it completely belongs to him. I guess this merchant gentleman hopes that Luffy will cherish this ship. Edward Newgate, that's right. Something given by someone else will always be tied to them. But if you buy it, the bond of the ship will be completely in the hands of the Straw Hat Kid. Rocks D, Xebec, you're right. When I was around, I plundered countless treasures, but the only pirate ship I spent money to have it made. Because it would take 3 more days for the Going Merry to be ready, Luffy, Zoro, and Buggy took the Black Cat pirate ship to the nearby marine base, the 77th branch, during this time. Of course, only Luffy and Zoro went in. Buggy, as a famous East Blue pirate, shouldn't show his face at the marine base. Captain of the marine base was stunned when he saw the two of them bringing in so many pirates. He quickly had someone bring the bounty list to check after some calculations. Thank you very much for your righteous actions. The total bounty of 91.5 million berries is all here. The Marine patted the large treasure chest containing the berries and smiled happily. What? When this scene appeared, the chat room exploded. Borsalino, hey, what kind of joke is this? How did it end up being so much? Usopp, my reward is gone. Monkey D, Dragon, damn it. Rocks D, Xebec, ha ha ha. This is hilarious. This is what they call going from extreme joy to extreme sorrow. Usopp, Zoro, what kind of math skills do you have? You estimated over 50 million berries for the pirates, but it turned out to be over 60 million? We were all misled by you. Borsalino, it's all this guy's fault. I was also led astray by his overcalculation. Don Quixote da Flamingo, wait, does this mean I'm getting a reward? Foo. Tony Chopper, wow. Luffy, Usopp, I'm getting a reward too. Saint Shepherd Jew Peter, I didn't expect my answer to be correct. Quite interesting. Ding. The top 3 winners of the prize quiz with the correct answers are Saint Shepherd Jew Peter, Tony Chopper, and Don Quixote da Flamingo. Congratulations to the 3 of them for winning the rewards. Congratulations to Saint Shepherd Jew Peter for winning the reward of being 15 years younger. Congratulations to Tony Chopper for winning the reward of a Hulk-like physique. Congratulations to Don Quixote da Flamingo for winning the reward of Bloodline Limit, Modified, String Release. Don't let YouTube hide your otaku corner. Be part of Infinite Novel. Hit subscribe. Chapter 51 Da Flamingo, I just ran away. Saint Shepherd Jew Peter, what a lousy reward. Seeing the reward he received, Saint Shepherd Jew Peter couldn't help but frown. Although being 15 years younger is considered a decent reward for him, but judging from the rewards that those people just received, the 15 years younger reward can only be considered the worst among the rewards. Moreover, when Saint Shepherd Jew Peter learned that he was about to receive the reward just now, a hint of ambition secretly rose in his heart. Although he is now esteemed as one of the 5 elders, representing the highest authority in this world. But what people don't know is that behind the 5 old men, there is still the supreme Imusama. That is the only existence that can sit on the throne at the pinnacle of the world. Has Saint Shepherd Jew Peter Satan never thought about going for that throne? He has. Not only has he thought about it, but he has thought about it intensely. But in this world, everything is determined by strength. Without strength, even just thinking about it in his mind has to be done secretly. If the reward just now could give him a super powerful ability, allowing him to possess a strength greater than Imusama, that would be so great. In the midst of power struggles, Saint Shepherd Jew Peter secretly sighed. It seems that he can only wait for the next opportunity. Ding! Because the Hulk's physique is a magical thing from Otherworld, special remarks are made. Hulk's physique remarks has strength, speed, endurance, and recovery ability far surpassing humans. Its abilities are related to its own emotions. The angrier it gets, the stronger it becomes, with no known limit. Hulk possesses extremely strong regenerative and survival abilities. Most vital organs can regenerate and recover even if destroyed. He is also immune to all diseases, poisons, and biochemical weapons, and can survive in extreme temperatures. Additionally, he can increase the pressure in his lungs in various situations, breathe underwater at any depth, and move at super speed. Borsalino, what? This physique's attributes are too powerful. Kuzan, being able to survive in extremely low temperatures. Does that mean the effects of my abilities on him will be greatly reduced? Queen, this is going too far. He's even immune to all diseases, poisons, and biochemical weapons. King, you idiot. Queen, if you encounter him, you'll become a stump in front of him. Queen, you fool. Jin, I not only possess biochemical weapons, but I am also a user of the ancient Zoan. Strength is my strong suit. Marco, take a good look. The Hulk's abilities become stronger the angrier he gets, and there is no known limit. Are you sure your strength can compare to his? Queen, bastard, this is simply cheating. Gold, Roger, this ability is indeed outrageously strong. Strength, speed, endurance, and recovery abilities all far surpass humans, which means Haki and Devil Fruit abilities can be used infinitely. Edward Newgate, he also possesses extremely strong regenerative abilities. He can regenerate and recover even if most vital organs are destroyed. Isn't this equivalent to Marco's Phoenix recovery ability? Rocks D, Xebec, this is too perverted. Damn it, if I were to obtain this ability, I would make the whole world tremble beneath my feet. Gold Roger, idiot. Who wouldn't make the world tremble with this power? Marie Joyce, the Hall for Power. When Saint Shepherd Jew Peter saw the reward introduction that Chopper received, he was about to vomit blood. Damn it. Why isn't this powerful ability rewarded to him? Compared to the Hulk's physique, his 15-year-old youth reward is simply disgusting like garbage. Just a little bit more. It really is just a little bit more. Saint Shepherd Jew Peter believes that if the Hulk's physique was rewarded to him, then with his own strength combined with the Hulk's physique, he would no longer have to worry about Imu's face anymore. The pain of missing out on such a precious treasure makes Saint Shepherd Jew Peter grind his teeth in frustration. Ding. Because the bloodline limit, modified, line release comes from the other world, special remarks are made. Bloodline limit, modified, string release remarks. The 5 basic release techniques are water style, fire style, earth style, wind style, lightning style. The fusion of water style and earth style will produce wood style, and the fusion of wood style and water style will produce string release. Gecko Moria, huh? Is that it? Looking at the explanation of Doflamingo's newly acquired ability, Moria is a bit confused. It seems like it's said to be powerful, but it also seems like nothing has been said. Boa Hancock, what is release? I've never heard of it. Dracul Myhawk, that's something from the other world. It would be strange if you've heard of it. Sengoku, Doflamingo, what abilities does your string release have? Don Quixote Doflamingo, he. Doflamingo smiles and remains silent. They expect him to reveal the abilities of string release? Haha, does he look like a fool to them? When the screen ends, I'll just give you a demonstration of string release string clone, and then he will make his escape. Chapter 52 Ship Spirit. After collecting the bounty, Luffy and Zoro found Buggy and the 3 of them returned to Syrup Village on a small boat. 3 days later, the Going Merry was officially completed. It was a 2-mast sailing ship, with the main sail hanging from the front mast and a triangular sail hanging from the rear mast. The ship was equipped with a 4th gate cannon, with one of them located at the bow as the main cannon. At the bow of the ship was a finely carved sheep head. Monkey D, Luffy, it's the Merry. At the moment he saw the completion of the Going Merry, Luffy's mind was filled with memories of that day under the setting sun when he personally set fire to the Going Merry. It started drizzling as the rain slid down the big eyes of the sheephead. It was hard to tell whether it was rain or tears from the Merry. That day, the Straw Hat Pirates bid farewell to the Going Merry forever. Although the previous video in the white frame also showed the moment they first met the Going Merry. But this segment in the red border is different, because this is the moment when the Going Merry was just completed. Luffy envied the red border Luffy over there very much. He envied that he could witness the birth of the Going Merry. Usopp, hey. They actually witnessed the birth of the Going Merry with their own eyes. Even I haven't seen it. Nami, it's such an important moment, I wasn't there. Roronoa Zoro, haha. It seems that only the me over there and the Luffy over there saw the Going Merry come into that world. Vinsmoke Sanji, stupid green seaweed head, why are you showing off? Usopp, damn it. The me over there isn't there either. Monkey D, Luffy, huh? Usopp, wait. The Usopp over there hasn't had any interaction with the me over there until now. How did he get on the ship? Usopp, idiot. It's all because the you over there used Conqueror's Haki to knock me out. How can the me over there have any interaction with you? Damn it, does the me over there not become red border Luffy crewmate? Usopp started to worry. Although the Nami over there was thrown by Luffy, she still had a chance to get on the ship because they should pass through Kokoyashi village later. But the him over there is different. If the Luffy over there leaves Syrup Village, he will never have a chance to get on Luffy's ship again. Zoro, don't worry, let's wait and see, there might be a turning point. Although Zoro said so, he was also uncertain in his heart. According to the situation over there, the Luffy, Zoro, and Buggy over there should set sail after obtaining the ship, and Usopp will be forever left in that remote village. Mr. Luffy, do you know? When I was still a child, I started designing the Going Merry. But building a ship requires a lot of money, and my family couldn't support my dream of building the Going Merry. Until a month ago, the master said he wanted to add a cargo ship, and I volunteered to take out the design of the Going Merry. During this month, I often felt unreal, because strictly speaking, the Going Merry is not a cargo ship, and such a ship cannot significantly increase the cargo capacity of the master's merchant fleet. But the master finally agreed to build it according to my drawings, which made me feel very unreal. Until just now, I finally understood. Because of your arrival, you have thwarted Kuro's sinister plot. The master and I no longer have to meet a tragic fate, and the Going Merry can be truly built, and you happen to need a ship to take you to the Grand Line. Isn't this just like the master said? You and the Going Merry truly have a special fate. Luffy, this ship now belongs to you completely. I hope you will take good care of her. Don't let her down. As he said this, Merry's eyes became moist. This ship, designed with his lifelong wish, has been entrusted to a young man full of justice. He is relieved. Luffy looked at the ship before him, and he genuinely loved it from the bottom of his heart. That feeling is as if everything has already been predetermined. This ship, it has his name, Luffy, engraved on it. Better late than never. Luffy took a deep breath and looked seriously at Merry's butler. Uncle Merry, please rest assured. I promise that as long as I'm alive, I will never let the Going Merry be harmed. When this sentence appeared, all the members of the Straw Hat Pirates who were watching the movie were in tears. As long as he is alive, he will never let Merry suffer any harm in the future. That red border Luffy over there is so full of haki. While they can only bow to fate, they can only witness little Merry, after carrying them on their final journey, being buried in the sea. Pain. The heart is truly in pain. Monkey D, Luffy, the me over there, you must keep your promise and protect Merry. Nami, red border Luffy, do your best. Usopp, the Merry over there, you must accompany everyone to complete the Grand Line. Roronoa Zoro, believe in us over there, we can definitely do it. The sea surface was like a piece of shining blue glass, crystal clear, shimmering with enchanting luster. In the brilliance of the morning light, it seemed to drape a golden veil over the sea. The Going Merry quietly docked at the shore when Luffy shouted, as long as I'm alive, I will never let the Going Merry be harmed. The camera focused on the Going Mary's deck in the shot. When Luffy's voice came, the Going Mary's hull subtly trembled. Amidst the interplay of light and shadow, it solidified into the form of a little girl holding a wooden hammer and wearing a light yellow raincoat. At first, she looked around in confusion, then climbed onto a large barrel and leaned over the railing, continuing to look around. Suddenly, when her gaze fell on Luffy, she never looked away again. Spirit of the ship. When they saw this small figure, the chat room was filled with the astonished cries of the Straw Hat Pirates. Chapter 53 How Usopp got on the ship. Eustace Kid, ship spirit? What is that? Suddenly, the members of the Straw Hat Pirates exclaimed in shock, many of them looking confused. Kid was naturally one of them. Capone Big, I don't know, I've never heard of it. Trafalgar Law, I haven't heard of it either. But this little girl with yellow raincoat doesn't seem to be human, right? Jewelry Bonnie, I saw it clearly. She appeared suddenly at the intersection of light and shadow. It was like she appeared out of thin air. Basil Hawkins, could it be a ghost? Perona, no way, it's not a ghost. If it were a ghost, I would recognize it at a glance. Frankie, ship spirits are a legend that circulates on the sea. They only appear on ships cherished by the crew. In other words, they are the embodiment of the ship. Silvers Rayleigh, yes, I've heard of this legend too, but I've never heard of a ship spirit appearing on anyone's ship. Edward Newgate, shouldn't that kind of thing be limited to legends? But this girl in the raincoat and rain boots perfectly matches the image of a ship spirit from the legend. Could it really appear in the real world? Roxty, Xebec, damn it, I knew about this legend when I ruled the seas, but even my ship never had this thing appear. Other captains have it? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Gold, Roger, are you an idiot? Ship spirits only appear on ships cherished by the crew. Don't you know what kind of crew you have on your ship? Charlotte Linland, Roger, are you crazy? Kaido, talk about rocks if you want, why include us? Shiki, you idiot, Roger. Edward Newgate, you're firing your cannons randomly. Roger, ahem, forget what I said. Anyway, ship spirits only exist in legends. I've never heard of a ship spirit appearing on anyone's ship. Monkey D, Luffy, it did appear. The Going Mary had a ship spirit. Scratchman Apu, hey, Straw Hat Kid, don't bring up what happened over there. Nami, it didn't happen over there. The Going Mary on our side also had a ship spirit. Eustace Kid, what about your Going Mary? Rorono Zoro, the Going Mary can no longer sail, so we switched to the Thousand Sunny. Eustace Kid, so, the ship spirit you mentioned about the Going Mary is no longer valid, right? Scratchman Apu, blah blah blah. Seriously, who doesn't brag? Usopp, you bastard. The Going Mary really had a ship spirit. Capone Big, the blank screen just showed the scene when you guys got the Going Mary, but it didn't show the ship spirit. X Drake, yeah. If your ship really had a ship spirit, there should have been a shot of the ship spirit. Monkey D, Luffy, the ship spirit of the Mary hadn't appeared at that time. Eustace Kid, ha ha ha. Scratchman Apu, papa papa. Nami, Luffy, Usopp, don't argue with them. Whether our Going Mary had a ship spirit or not, we don't need to prove anything to them. Monkey D, Luffy, humph. Although the Straw Hat Pirates crew members stopped arguing in the chat room, they were all deeply shocked. The red border Luffy over there, with just one promise, made the Going Mary have a ship spirit. The emotions contained in that promise were so firm. When the ship spirit saw Luffy and the others approaching the ship, her figure gradually became ethereal and hidden. According to the master's orders, all the supplies for the voyage have been prepared and placed on the ship, said the Mary Steward. Thank you so much. Luffy sincerely thanked. The Mary Steward smiled and said, you're welcome, Luffy. The master said he will host another banquet for you tonight, and tomorrow he and his wife will see you off with the young lady. Great, if there's a feast, what else is there to say? Luffy replied with a mouthful. Then I'll go back first, you familiarize yourself with the ship. Mary smiled and made a summoning gesture, preparing to disembark. Suddenly, he looked at Luffy's hat. What's wrong? Seeing Mary's expression, Luffy asked in confusion. Mary realized that he was being a little rude, so he shook his head and said, oh, sorry. Many years ago, a group of pirates came to our village, and their captain wore a hat that looked just like yours. I almost thought it was the same one. This straw hat? Luffy took off the hat and smiled. It was given to me by a very amazing pirate. Is it a gift from the pirates? Mary was somewhat surprised. Could it be the captain of the red hair pirates with red hair? Ha! You know about the red hair pirates? That's right, this hat was given to me by the captain of the red hair pirates, Shanks. Do you know him? Luffy asked excitedly. Mary shook her head. I don't know him personally, but Usopp from our village went to sea with him, leaving behind his weak wife and a son who was less than 5 years old at the time. Within 2 years, his wife also passed away, leaving only his son to live alone. I just suddenly thought of this poor child. Saying this, Mary sighed, clearly a kind-hearted person. Usopp's son. Upon hearing this, Luffy furrowed his brow. After a moment of contemplation, Luffy looked at Mary. Where does he live? Can I go see him? He lives on the hillside to the east of the village, in a separate little house. His name is Usopp, and he's known in the village for being a liar. If you can't find him, just ask any villager and they'll tell you where he lives. Alright, thanks. After Mary left, Zoro and Buggy came out of the cabin. This ship is really great. There's so much space for training. Zoro exclaimed excitedly. I need to find someone in the village. Will you guys come with me? Luffy asked the two. Sure, we've got plenty of time anyway, Zoro replied casually. Buggy waved his hand. I won't go, I seem to have found a trick to my spilt ability, I'll give it a try. Luffy and Zoro got off the ship and asked for directions as they walked, quickly finding Usopp's house. It's you. Seeing Luffy and Zoro appear at his doorstep, Usopp's face turned pale with fear. 3 days ago, he had been crouching on a cliff and witnessed firsthand these two and another person instantly defeating dozens of pirates. At that time, he was so scared that he ran away in fear. Now seeing the two of them coming to his house, Usopp's first reaction was that they were here to kill him and silence him. He sat down on the ground, trembling with nervousness. How did you find me? How did they find him? Luffy suddenly remembered something that Kaya's father said when he gave him the going merry. It must be a special fate. After thinking for a moment, Luffy smiled and said, it must be a special fate. Usopp quickly shouted, I really didn't see anything that day, please, don't kill me. Don't misunderstand, I heard that your dream is to go to sea and become a brave warrior of the sea, so I've come to invite you to join me on my journey. Luffy smiled and extended his hand. Of course, the main reason Luffy invited him to join was because he learned about Usopp's tragic past from Mary, and coincidentally, he knew Usopp and had made a promise with Red Hairshanks to meet on the sea in the future. So Luffy thought, since Usopp's dream is also to become a brave warrior of the sea, he might as well invite him to join. However, his invitation fell on Usopp's ears like a death sentence. No, 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 I won't go. You must want to kill me at sea. To get rid of the evidence, Usopp shook his head repeatedly, quickly retreating. Fine, he's already convinced that we're out to get him. Luffy shrugged. Then I'll have to inconvenience you for a bit. Saying that, Luffy released his Conqueror's Haki Boom. Usopp's eyes rolled back, and he fainted instantly. Zoro. Got it. Zoro took a step forward and carried him away. The next day, the Going Merry left Syrup Village and set sail once again on the open sea. And here, the screen in the red border gradually dimmed. Chapter 54, Chapter 54. Sanji, you should grow up. Usopp. I was knocked out again by conquerors. Damn it, Luffy, Nico Robin. Usopp is so pitiful. Currently, he is the one who has been intimidated the most by conquerors and the Straw Hat Pirates. Tony Chopper. Poor Usopp. Vinsmoke Sanji, but it's also fortunate. Thanks to Mary mentioning Usopp's situation, otherwise Usopp really wouldn't have been able to board the ship. Nami, finally, one person hasn't been lost. I wonder if Luffy over there will take me along. Monkey D. Luffy, don't worry, he definitely will. Not long after, the screen with a white border gradually lit up. The scene appeared. After leaving Syrup Village, Luffy and his group of 4 set off to the sea again. On the way, they encountered Johnny and Yusaku. A few days later, they arrived at the floating restaurant, Baratai. Due to the battle with Captain Fullbody, Luffy fired the cannonball in the wrong direction, resulting in the ship of the floating restaurant being damaged. As a result, he was ordered by the captain, Zeph, to work as compensation for the damage. Jin appeared, wanting to have a meal, but was driven away by the chefs. Sanji secretly brought him food to eat. Afterwards, Jin came back with Krieg. The chefs still wanted to drive them away, but Sanji gave Krieg food to eat again. As a result, after Krieg and his group ate their fill, they wanted to take over the floating restaurant, Baratai. Jewelry Bonnie, that chef, is he an idiot? Yozu, knowing that the other party will seek revenge, yet still giving them food to eat, this is simply bending your arm outwards. Sakazuki, what a foolish guy. Trafalgar Law, the actions of the chef, Sanji, in the video are indeed too naive. Vinsmoke Sanji, as a chef, if someone is hungry and needs food, what's wrong with giving them food to eat? Smoker, idiot. That Krieg has killed at least 700 innocent civilians in East Blue. He was supposed to starve to death, but you gave him a meal and let him live. Have you considered how many more civilians will die at his hands afterwards? Vinsmoke Sanji, that's a different matter. I am a chef, and if someone is hungry, I can give them food to eat. Hina, so he's stubborn, huh? Rox D, Xebec, ha. This kid, still hasn't experienced the harshness of society. Marco, he would rather disregard the safety of his own family and give food to the enemy. This kid is truly a bastard. Shiki, kakahaha. You guys are saying, he saved this Krieg with a meal, and then Krieg killed the shop owner and all the chefs. Will this kid feel that he was wrong? Akoku, I bet he won't think he's wrong, haha. Charlotte Linlin, this kid definitely won't think he's wrong. When we pirates kill people, do we ever think we're in the wrong? Ha ha ha. Kaido, ha ha ha. Vinsmoke Sanji, bastards. You have no idea what I've been through. Zeph, Sanji. Vinsmoke Sanji, stinky, old man. Zeph, Sanji. We've experienced that kind of hunger and fear, so we can empathize with others' feelings. It's okay if others don't understand you, I understand you. Vinsmoke Sanji, stinky old man. Zeph, but I hope you understand one thing. You used to be a willful rebellious teenager, so you didn't consider the consequences of your actions. But now you have your own crewmates, Sanji. It's time for you to grow up. Zeph, those people may speak harshly, but their reasoning is not wrong. Sanji, let me ask you, if all your crewmates were severely injured behind you, and in front of you is your enemy who wants to kill your crewmates, but he is now starving and weak, would you kill him or give him a meal? Back at the Baratai on the sea, Zeph would never have said these things to Sanji. Because back then, Sanji was a willful rebellious teenager who would undoubtedly choose to give the enemy a meal without hesitation. But now, Zeph dared to ask this because Sanji now has crewmates, and they have experienced many things together. Zeph knows that the rebellious teenager from before has grown up. He looked at the chat room, quietly waiting for Sanji's answer. Give the enemy a meal, and let the crewmates die. Don't give the enemy a meal, and the crewmates live. When faced with such a choice, Sanji hesitated. Because he should have immediately said give him a meal without hesitation, but he hesitated. Sanji was shocked. What's going on? Why didn't he immediately say give him a meal? Has he betrayed my chef's creed? Zeph, Sanji, what are you waiting for? Why haven't you told me the answer yet? If you want to choose to give the enemy a meal, say it. I'm listening. Hiss, huff. Sanji took a deep breath, then exhaled forcefully. I am a chef. If someone is hungry, I should give them a meal. How can I just sit by and do nothing when I know what it feels like to be hungry? I'm hesitating about what to do. I can't hesitate. I must adhere to my chef's creed. Suddenly, Sanji shouted loudly in the chat room, I will kill him. Ah! After shouting this, Sanji himself was completely stunned. He was shocked to find, even if he forced himself to say give him food to eat, the moment he opened his mouth, his mind would be instantly filled with the images of his comrades. Luffy, that damn green seaweed head. Lovely Nami-chan, ******, boastful Usopp, beautiful Robin, the chopper baby, and that pervert Frankie and pervert skeleton. The moment these images appeared, Sanji couldn't ignore their safety and well-being, no matter what. Even if it's just a verbal choice, he couldn't do it at all. Vinsmoke Sanji, ah, damn it, I was wrong, I admit, I made mistakes in the past. Vinsmoke Sanji, I am a chef. If someone is hungry, I should give them food to eat. Vinsmoke Sanji, but, if someone wants to harm my comrades, even if they are hungry, I will kill them. On Transvestite Island Sanji cried bitterly. The people around him comforted him. Monkey D, Luffy, Sanji, Roronoa Zoro, Curlybrow, well done. Tony Chopper, with you with Sanji's words are so touching. Nami, Sanji-kun, you're really amazing. Frankie, super. The Straw Hat Pirates comrades voiced their support for Sanji in the chat room. Zeph, Sanji. Vinsmoke Sanji, old man. Zeph, look, this is growth. Vinsmoke Sanji, On Transvestite Island, Sanji's tears flowed even more intensely. The people around him comforted him even more intensely. Krieg led about 100 recently fed subordinates to prepare to attack the Baratai restaurant at sea. But at this moment, swish, 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 3 huge sword energy shockwaves, like 3 tens of meters high giant waves, instantly swept from one side of Krieg's pirate ship flagship to the other. The huge iron ship warship didn't even make a sound, it directly broke into 4 pieces. In the slow overturning, scattered on the sea. What's going on? What happened? I don't know. Did their ammunition depot explode? It's impossible. Even if the ammunition depot exploded, it wouldn't reach this level. For a while, whether it was the Straw Hat Pirates, the chefs at the sea restaurant, or the guys from Krieg's pirate crew, they all stared in horror, their jaws dropping to the ground. In the confused and shocked gazes of everyone, the figure of a black coffin-shaped small boat slowly emerged from the scattered ship fragments on the sea. On it, there was a person. Black top hat, black trench coat, wine-red patterned shirt, white pants. Under the brim of the hat, a pair of brown eyes as sharp as an eagle. He sat on that small boat, like a sword that could be unsheathed at any moment. Sharp and restrained, but chill. Chapter 55, I'm sorry, this is already the smallest sword I can find, Marco, it's Mihawk. Vista, why would Mihawk appear in a place like that? Killer, so it's the world's #1 swordsman. Could it be that he's going to meet Zoro? Shanks, wow, I think I understand now. Mihawk, I finally understand why you have such high hopes for that kid Zoro, right? Dracule Mihawk. When Mihawk appears, the pirates of the Krieg pirates completely collapse. They are scattered on the broken ship debris, some soaking in the sea, their eyes filled with despair because the person in front of them is the devil who single-handedly destroyed 50 of their ships. Now, he has chased all the way here, even the last ship was destroyed by him. In the eyes of these pirates, it is now the time for them to die. A pirate, due to extreme terror, suddenly roared hysterically. Mihawk looked straight ahead, proudly saying, to pass the time. While the chat room exploded, Scratchman Apple, hey, is this a mistake? Chasing from the Grand Line to the East Blue, is the reason really that outrageous? Eustace Kid, such an arrogant reason. Killer, it's really impossible to argue against. Shanks, ha. This guy is indeed quite bored usually, wandering around everywhere. Don Quixote da Flamingo, foo. Look at the shocked expressions of those pirates, it's so funny, right? Don't they know? The strength of a strong person itself is the qualification to judge the weak. As for the reason, that's not important at all. Ah, I'll fight you. First, overwhelmed by fear, now their psychological defense line is shattered by this reason. This pirate pulls out 2 guns and madly shoots at Mihawk. Clang, the black blade, Yoru, is unsheathed and casually slashes through a few arcs in Mihawk's hand. Swish, the bullets, like a group of obedient slaves, obediently fall into the sea. Ah, did I miss? These East Blue pirates have never seen such a flashy move, each one wide-eyed and shocked. No matter how many times they shoot, they can't hit. He changes the trajectory of the bullets with the edge of his sword among the pirates. Zoro appears here at some point. Hey, who are you? The pirate who just shot yells at Zoro in confusion. Zoro ignores him and mutters to himself, I've never seen such a gentle sword movement. Clang, Mihawk raises his left hand, pulls it back, and Yoro returns to its sheath. It seems that he thinks Zoro's compliment is quite knowledgeable, and he casually responds, the strongest sword is easily broken, a sword that is not flexible is not strong. Zoro stares at the black blade, Yoro, behind Mihawk, his forehead slightly sweating. Is it with that sword that he cut these ships? Impressive, truly the strongest swordsman. Ha! Mihawk furrows his brow slightly. He doesn't look at Zoro, not even glancing at him, his tone slightly annoyed. Do you have something to say? However, Zoro speaks up, I do. The reason I set sail is to have a battle with you. Saying that, Zoro grabs the bandana on his left arm, wraps it around his head, and tightens it. And the next moment, Zoro's mouth curls up. He looks at Mihawk and shouts loudly, hey, strongest. Aren't you bored? Let's settle this with a fight. What? When Zoro proposed such an absurd challenge, the chat room exploded. Kuzan, is that kid okay? Does he really have to choose such a clever way to commit suicide? Borsalino, this is what they call the fearless ignorance. Cavendish, is this guy joking? That's the world's greatest swordsman. Killer, he actually dares to challenge Mihawk at a time like this. Drake, I really don't know if this is bravery or foolishness, pathetic weakling. As the small boat approached the large debris where Zoro stood, Mihawk stood up. He stepped onto the floating board, like a sharp sword descending. The surrounding pirates couldn't help but tremble. If you consider yourself a swordsman, then there's no need for a fight. The difference between us is clear at a glance. Is the courage to challenge me born from your determination or from ignorance? Mihawk stopped and looked coldly at Zoro. This was his first glance at Zoro. Meanwhile, Zoro had already drawn 2 swords and held the third one in his mouth. This is my dream. It's also a promise I made with a dear friend. To be honest, I didn't expect us to meet so soon. Swish! Zoro lowered both hands, assuming a posture of challenge. Mihawk's brow furrowed, this isn't a good thing for you. This kind of battle has no meaning for Mihawk, but he has a habit, which is that he never refuses anyone who challenges him with a sword. So, he reached out and took off the cross pendant hanging around his neck, gently flicking it puff. A roughly 10 centimeter long cross-shaped dagger revealed its sharpness. Gold Roger, ahahaha. Hey, this is truly insulting, hahaha. Shiki, this kid really knows how to play. Jun, although this little sword is a bit ridiculous, when you think about it, it seems fine. Vista, haha. Look at the other guy's dumbfounded and gnashing expression. Forgive me for laughing Doflamingo, hahaha. If you ask me, it's already giving face to make a move. Jewelry Bonnie. This kind of humiliation really leaves no room for rebuttal. Seeing Mihawk unexpectedly draw out this mini dagger, everyone burst into laughter. It has to be said, this has turned into a comedy. Seeing the mini dagger in Mihawk's hand, Zoro's expression changed and he frowned. Hey, what do you mean? You're just a somewhat famous swordsman. I'm not the kind of brainless beast that goes all out to catch a rabbit. Mihawk casually put the sheath of the cross-shaped dagger into his pocket, then showed the dagger in his hand. Sorry, this is the smallest one I could find. Puffed. Everyone in the chat room burst into laughter. Damn, this is truly insulting to the max. And all the viewers even think that Mihawk is right, especially from the tone of Mihawk. The reason he used this cross-shaped dagger is not because Zoro's strength matches the level of this dagger, it's because he really couldn't find a smaller sword. If it can be found, then Mihawk can only fight with smaller knives. Ah, there should be a limit to looking down on people. Listening to Mihawk's calm and realistic mockery, Zoro is about to explode with anger. He angrily rushes out. Don't regret it if you die. Under the boost of anger, Zoro's figure is like a fierce tiger, charging out fiercely. 3-sword style, devil slash. Dash, the 3 swords intersect to form a cross shape, blocking all of Mihawk's evasion routes. Of course, this is only Zoro's imagination. No ripples appear in Mihawk's eyes. He calmly watches Zoro rushing over, and calmly says, let the frog in the well see how vast the world is. As he speaks, Mihawk extends the small cross sword in his hand forward. This strike is plain and unadorned. No exaggerated movements. No haki is the name of the technique, just casually extending it forward, as if handing a bag of snacks to a friend casually. The next moment, the whole world becomes quiet. Zoro's pupils widen in shock. He stares fixedly ahead. Only at the intersection of his 3 swords, the cross-sword seems like an endless black hole, filled with unimaginable suction, firmly sucking his main sword. No matter how hard he tries to break free, he cannot escape from this terrifying power. He is full of disbelief, staring in horror at the man in front of him who is walking leisurely. I can't move? What did he do? He just stabbed me with that small sword in his hand, right? Zoro can't believe this terrifying reality. Since he set sail, his technique, 3-sword style, devil slash, has never been defeated. Every time he encounters a fierce battle, as long as he uses it, it means the battle is over. But this time, he is the one being ended. And it was ended by that ridiculous little sword. In this instant, Zoro's swordsman's confidence seems to be shattered in an instant. No, impossible. How can the gap between us be so big? Zoro cannot accept this absurdity, and he hysterically shouts. Suddenly taking a step back, Zoro launches another attack, the 3 swords slashing towards Mihawk like a storm. Swish 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 swish. The sword light and shadows attack like a dozen people simultaneously, weaving a wall of impenetrable blades. Under such a dazzling and brilliant attack, my hawk remains motionless, not moving a single step. With a casual flick of the small cross sword, he easily blocks Zoro's strike. After blocking dozens of strikes in succession, perhaps finding it a bit boring, my hawk casually flicks upwards. Swish! Zoro is immediately knocked down to the ground. In trouble. Zoro is completely in trouble. This gap, it's impossible. There can't be such a huge gap in the world. Wow 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 wow. With a hysterical roar from his mouth, Zoro bounced up from the ground and attacked my hawk frantically. Killer, this difference, why is it so exaggerated? Just by watching Zoro and my hawk's battle on the screen, Killer could clearly feel the gap between himself and my hawk. It seems that Zoro is being played with like a clown by my hawk, but if it were him, wouldn't it be the same? Is this the strength of the world's greatest swordsman? Drake, is this the difference between the pirate hunter Zoro and the world's greatest swordsman? It's too big. As a swordsman himself, Drake was also shocked. Vista, you rookies are too naive, thinking that this is the gap between your supernovas and my hawk? Sorry, but my hawk may not even be using 1/10 of his strength. Jun, yes, it's obvious that my hawk-sama is just playing around. Cavendish, the world's greatest swordsman, truly incredible. Even if he steals my limelight, I have nothing to say. What a joke. I didn't train in the way of the sword all this time just to deal with this kind of treatment. I trained to win. I trained to defeat the world's greatest swordsman. Zoro roared desperately, fighting with all his might. Seemingly surprised by Zoro's resolute tone, my hawk calmly asked, "Weakling, what burden do you carry?" Zoro didn't answer. But scenes of Kuona floated in his mind when Kuona died and Zoro took the Wado Ikemanji from Koshiro's hands. At that time, the young Zoro, with tears in his eyes, shouted, "I will work hard together for her. I will become the world's greatest swordsman, and I will make my name resound through heaven." Tiger hunt. Zoro pounced like a fierce tiger, raising the two swords in his hands high, as if hunting a tiger, and slashed down with a thunderous force. Splurt, the small cross-shaped sword pierced Zoro's chest, instantly sealing all his strength. His hands hung weakly, trembling slightly, but he didn't retreat a step. My hawk's pupil slightly contracted. "Why don't you retreat?" This strike, my hawk didn't take it too seriously. He just randomly picked one of the countless flaws of his opponent and countered it. Based on his understanding of Zoro's strength, Zoro had every opportunity to avoid being pierced in the chest by retreating. So he was puzzled, why did this kid, who clearly had a chance to dodge, still recklessly charge forward? Who knows? Zoro smiled bitterly. It feels like if I take a step back, many important vows and things will be destroyed, and I won't be able to return here again. Upon hearing this, my hawk nodded. Yes, that's failure. Yeah, then I can't retreat. I'd rather die with satisfaction. Zoro's body moved forward, and his eyes reignited with fighting spirit. Instead of failure, it's better to choose death. Good determination. My hawk drew the small cross-shaped sword, and a hint of admiration appeared in his sharp eyes. It's been a long time since I've encountered a strong opponent. Tell me your name. Rorono Zoro. Speaking his own name loudly, Zoro mustered his last bit of strength and pushed his hands forward, forming a trident shape with his three swords. Very well. I will remember it. And then, I will end you with the etiquette of a swordsman, with this world's strongest black sword. As he spoke, my hawk raised his right hand high, reaching behind his head to grab the hilt of his sword. Clang! The black sword, Yoru, is unsheathed. Chapter 56. Chapter 56. Eat him for 3 months. Even the future portion is eaten together. Killer, it's out. Drake, a swordsman of this level, and he's worthy of having my hawk draw the black blade? Capone Beeg, am I hearing correctly? He had no defense against my hawk, and my hawk actually called him a strong one. Trafalgar Law, that should be a kind of recognition, right? Shanks, in terms of mentality, he indeed deserves the title of strong one. When my hawk drew the black blade Yoru, all the pirates around scattered in panic. Zoro endured the intense pain in his chest and stomped his feet. This attack, if it fails, it means death, right? So, world's number 1, Go died. 3-sword style secret technique, 3000 worlds. The 3 swords quickly spun, and Zoro's figure surged forward. Seeing this move, my hawk's eyes subtly narrowed, obviously surprised. However, swish! When the two figures crossed paths, accompanied by a loud clang, fragments of blades flew everywhere. The black blade Yoru slashed, consecutively cutting off 2 of Zoro's swords in his left and right hands, and also slashing across his waist. After delivering the blow, my hawk turned to look at Zoro. Zoro took a slash and knew he was completely defeated. Why didn't he struggle futilely anymore and simply let go of the broken blade handle in his hand? He pulled out the scabbard from his waist with his left hand and grabbed the hilt of Wado Ikemanji with his right hand. Clang. Wado Ikemanji sheathed in front of him. Without any hesitation, he turned around while holding the scabbard of Wado Ikemanji, spreading his arms. This action made my hawk stunned. He frowned and asked, "What are you doing?" Zoro's mouth was bleeding, and he smiled faintly. The wound on the back is a swordsman's shame. When these words were spoken, a smile also appeared on my hawk's face. Well said. The black blade Yoru fell with a loud crash. Bartolomeo, Zoro-senpai is so cool. Since witnessing Luffy's performance in Log Town, Bartolomeo has become a complete fanboy of Luffy. Not only is he a fan of Luffy, but also of the Straw Hat Pirates crew members Momonga, a swordsman who disregards life and death. He's a ruthless person. Edward Newgate, the wound on his back is a swordsman's shame. Gururarara. This kid, it's a pity we met so late. Otherwise, I would definitely make him my son. Whitebeard really loves this line, because his belief is the same as Zoro's, that is, never retreat even in the face of battle. No retreat, no jumping, no running away, no wound on the back. Of course, sneak attacks are not part of this discussion. Tony Chopper with you, Zoro actually had such a fierce battle? It's so scary. Frankie, this guy never mentioned it to us. Nico Robin, truly the toughest man in our Straw Hat Pirates crew. Shanks, so that's how it is. My hawk, I finally understand why you have such high hopes for him. If it were me, I would also have high hopes for him. When Usopp, Yon, and Johnny pulled Zoro out of the sea and rescued him onto the ship, standing proudly with eagle eyes, Dracul Mihawk looked at Zoro and said in a deep voice, "It's not your time to die yet. Remember, my name is Dracul Mihawk. Know yourself, know the world. Try to surpass this sword with your own strength and indomitable spirit. Try to surpass me, Roronoa Zoro. I will be waiting for you on the throne of the world's greatest swordsman." When these words were spoken, the entire chat room was shocked. Izu, the world's greatest swordsman personally certified someone worthy of taking his throne. Emporio Ivankov, wow. To receive such recognition from my hawk boy. Straw Hat Boy, your companion is incredible, haha. Vista, although I don't want to admit it, I have to say that even as a great swordsman like me, I'm afraid I've never been considered a candidate by my hawk to challenge his position. Anigamo, that guy's swordsmanship is already extraordinary. In terms of swordsmanship alone, there is no one in the sea who can surpass him. Is he trying to train a new great swordsman to become his rival? Shanks, damn it. My hawk, why didn't you say you were waiting for me to take your throne as the world's greatest swordsman? Shanks' overall strength is definitely stronger than my hawk's. There is no doubt about that. But in terms of swordsmanship alone, he is indeed slightly inferior to my hawk Dracul Mihawk Roronoa Zoro. This matter was originally just an agreement between you and me. Even if you can't fulfill it, it doesn't affect me. But now, this matter has become known to everyone. It's a matter of my reputation. Don't disappoint me. Roronoa Zoro, when we meet again, I will fulfill my promise. Monkey D, Luffy, definitely. Shanks, Ahaha East Blue, Shimatsuki Village Teacher, Senior Zoro is amazing. To receive such recognition from the world's greatest swordsman. Senior Zoro is so strong. We should learn from Senior Zoro. Amidst the cheers of a group of young swordsman apprentices, Koshiro sat cross-legged, looking up at the sky. Beneath his round glasses, his eyes were filled with kindness. My hawk left Luffy defeated Krieg and saved the Baratai. Sanji finally decided to join the Straw Hat Pirates and set sail with Luffy. Up to this point the screen with a white border gradually dimmed. Not long after the screen with a red border gradually lit up. The Going Merry left Syrup Village and sailed on the sea. You should have told me earlier. If I had known you were inviting me so warmly to be your captain, I wouldn't have resisted at all. Listening to Luffy's explanation, Usopp was overjoyed. Zoro frowned. Hey, are you brain damaged by Luffy's Conqueror's haki? When did we ever say we wanted you to be the captain? Ah, I mean, I can be your captain. Usopp pointed to himself with his thumb and winked. You're daydreaming. Zoro sneered and pointed to Luffy beside him. Look clearly, our captain can only be this guy. Damn it. You tied me up and won't let me be the captain. What's the deal with that? Usopp clenched his fist and waved it. Do you really want to be the captain? Seeing Usopp's determination to be the captain, Luffy asked. Usopp's eyes widened with excitement. Of course. Are you agreeing to it? Bang. Luffy released his Conqueror's haki, and Usopp fell cleanly to the ground. Usopp, ouch. Damn it, Red Border Luffy, why did you have to do that to me? Nami, ahahaha, Vinsmoke Sanji, haha. Tony Chopper, poor Usopp. Seeing Usopp being hit by another one of Luffy's Conqueror's haki, the Straw Hat Pirates burst into laughter in the bathroom. However, this time Luffy used a very small dose of Conqueror's haki, only stunning Usopp for a few seconds. A few seconds later, Usopp shook his head and angrily shouted, "Ah, what are you doing?" Luffy smiled and said, "Do you know? Conqueror's haki is a must-have for an excellent captain. When you have Conqueror's haki, I promise to make you the captain." Usopp rolled his eyes. Seeing Usopp no longer vying for captaincy, Luffy patted his shoulder and said, "Alright, rest well. The day I meet Shanks again, you will also get to see your dad." As Luffy and Zoro walked to the door of the room, Usopp suddenly shouted, "Hey, Luffy, I haven't properly thanked you yet. Listen to me, thank you for helping me take the first step to set sail." Luffy didn't turn around, but raised his hand in a gesture of "you're welcome," and then left with Zoro, their shoulders touching. A few days later, under Luffy's urging, Usopp also started training his haki. However, he mainly focused on training observation haki. Although there weren't as many forest beasts as possible on the ship for Usopp to train his observation haki, having Buggy alone was enough. Since Usopp started training observation haki, he took on the task of slicing Buggy's arms. After being sliced, Buggy would try to actively split himself using the reverse push method, while controlling the many sliced pieces to attack Usopp from various angles. The two of them helped each other and made progress together. 10 or so days later, the Going Merry arrived at the Baratai, a floating restaurant on the sea. Ding! Entering the prize quiz section. At this moment, a question appeared on the big screen. Question: what will the Red Border Luffy and his crew do next? A. Pay the restaurant owner to hire a chef. B. Just snatch a chef and leave. C. Persuade the restaurant owner to set sail with the floating restaurant. D. Join the floating restaurant as apprentice chefs. E. Finish eating and leave. Just then, the systems quiz appeared. Rocks D, Xebec, haha, here it comes. This time I can answer the question. Shiki, hee, I can answer too. Gold Roger, this time I can answer too. It seems like the three of us are bound together. Kojiki Odin Captain Roger, I will also stand with you. Don Quixote da Flamingo, hahaha, I answered the last question correctly, so I can answer this one too. Comfortable. Tony Chopper, me too soon. The 5-second punishment protection mechanism time passed. Marshall D Teach, B, this is more like Red Border Luffy style. Monkey D Garp, A, my grandson over there is not a pirate, how could he randomly snatch people? Edward Newgate Gurururara, didn't Usopp just get snatched and left earlier? I also choose B. Monkey D Garp, can it be the same? Gold Roger, choose E. That seems like the correct answer. Shiki Idiot Roger, you definitely chose wrong. I choose A. Kojiki Odin, choose D. Gold Roger, put. Odin, are you thinking in reverse again? Kojiki Odin, yeah. Since everyone is guessing, I'll just go the opposite way. Maybe I'll guess the right answer for one of the questions. Rocks D Xebec, damn, it's really hard to choose. I'll just guess C. Gecko Moria he, I'll also choose C. Kuzan, D. Sengoku, Admiral Kuzan, your choice is not reliable. Kuzan, I'm also thinking in the opposite way, anyway, it's all just guessing. Monkey D, Luffy, I choose C. Nami E, it suits Luffy's style. Brooke, do we not want to take the chance with D? Then I'll go with D. Before long, as the countdown for the quiz ended, the red border screen continued to play. The dishes are all ready, please enjoy. Sanji placed all the plates he was holding and the one on top of his head on the table, then left gracefully. Ha! It's so delicious. Luffy stuffed a large piece of meat into his mouth, and his eyes widened. Usopp and Zoro, upon hearing that, also reached out their hands. In the next moment, delicious, delicious. The two of them immediately enjoyed the food. It was definitely the most delicious meal they had ever had. Don't you guys know? Baratai is a famous sea restaurant in East Blue. Although the chefs here are all pirates, their skills are absolutely impeccable. Even many Marines come here just to taste the food. In comparison, Buggy was obviously a well-traveled individual. He was calm and leisurely, eating with a sword and fork. The food here is so delicious. Luffy slurped up a piece of mackerel and even licked the soup off his fingers. Compared to this, he felt that the food he usually ate on the ship was like plain steamed buns. There is a saying that it is easy to go from frugality to luxury, but difficult to go from luxury to frugality. Having tasted such delicious food, it would be hard for an ordinary person to forget it. Not to mention someone like Luffy, who is a pure glutton. Luffy looked at Buggy and asked, do you think the head chef here would be willing to sail with us? Impossible. Buggy immediately shook his head. The head chef here is also the owner. He used to be a famous pirate in the Grand Line named Redleg Zeph. For some reason, he lost a leg, and then he opened this sea restaurant here. He can't continue to the Grand Line anymore. Ah, I see. Upon reaching this conclusion, Luffy shook his head regretfully. If you like the food, let's stay here for a few more days and have a few more meals. Usopp suggested. Zoro sneered, I think it's just you who wants to eat. Usopp laughed, mainly because the captain wants to eat, so I reluctantly have to eat with him, haha. Luffy thought about it and realized that was the case. So he immediately announced, we'll stay here for 3 months. Thinking that he wouldn't be able to eat such delicious food after leaving, Luffy decided to eat his future meals in advance. 3 months. Zoro, Usopp, and Buggy were all shocked and looked at Luffy. Is he crazy? But Luffy tilted his head and asked, is there a problem? Chapter 57 Another resurrection, Summit War adds another person not, aren't we supposed to go to the Grand Line? Why waste time here? Zoro couldn't understand, isn't this a waste of time? Oh, I forgot to mention, I originally wanted to find a place for everyone to train intensively for 3 months before setting off. Luffy has never been to the Grand Line, but along the way, he heard from others that it is a very dangerous place. People in the Grand Line face death at every turn, with only half of them surviving. There are countless strong individuals in that place, and countless people perish every day. In Luffy's eyes, Zoro's strength is still weak, Buggy is also no match, not to mention Usopp. The closer Luffy gets to the Grand Line, the more cautious he becomes. So, in these few days, he made the decision for the crew to collectively train intensively for 3 months. He looked at the 3 confused faces and said, no matter where we train, we still have to eat. Isn't it a joyful thing to eat delicious food and train here? The 3 looked at each other and realized that Luffy's decision was not a spur-of-the-moment one, so they nodded simultaneously. Okay. Wait a minute. Suddenly, Zoro seemed to remember something unpleasant, and his mouth twitched slightly as he said, no, we can't train here. The food here may be delicious, but it's very expensive. With Luffy's appetite, the money we earn from the Black Cat Pirate's bounty won't be enough to feed him. Don't joke around. Just selling the Black Cat Pirate's bounty alone gave us over 90 million berries. The cost of meals is just a drop in the bucket. Buggy waved his hand, don't make a fuss, okay? Zoro said seriously, hey, I'm not joking. Back when I was a bounty hunter, I saved up nearly 10 million berries, but Luffy ate it all in half a month. And the prices here are so high, our berries on the ship might really be in jeopardy. Ah. Suddenly, Buggy gasped, then looked at Luffy, well, how about we reconsider? Find an island, roast some wild game. Luffy scratched his head awkwardly. Give up this delicious food? How could he make such a painful decision? He looked around and suddenly saw a recruitment notice for apprentice chefs, and his eyes lit up. Look over there. Luffy gestured towards the direction of the recruitment notice. What? You want to apply as an apprentice chef here? The other three looked at Luffy in confusion. Luffy grinned. No, what I mean is, let's all apply as apprentice chefs together. Rocks D, Xebec, damn it. The answer can't be D, right, Shiki, wrong again. Monkey D Garp, no rush, the Luffy over there is just saying, it's not certain if he'll succeed or not. Gol D Roger, huh? This answer is outrageous. Wait, it seems Odin chose this one too. Kojiki Odin, yes, Captain Roger. Ha ha, if I get it right this time, I wonder if I'll get a resurrection too. Gol D Roger, don't worry, you definitely will. You'll definitely be resurrected. If Kojiki Odin is also resurrected, Roger will be even happier. Gol D Roger Odin, if you're resurrected, remember to choose to come back here. We'll first take care of the Marines together, and then go to Wano country to take care of Kaido. Kojiki Odin, yes, Captain. Also a person who has died once, Kojiki Odin naturally learned to grow and became much more rational. In the current situation, if he really could be resurrected, it would obviously be wise to help Roger save Ace first. The video is still playing. Hey, what's this joke? Didn't you say we were going to train? When do we have time to be a chef? Zoro immediately rebuked Luffy's casual behavior. Usopp shrugged, mainly because your appetite alone is several times that of the three of us combined. If we were to apply, it should be just one person going. Buggy's mouth curled. What's going on here? Luffy grinned and explained, I suddenly thought that just eating here for 3 months won't solve the fundamental problem. At least one of us four needs to learn the culinary skills here. That way, we'll have delicious food every day on the sea in the future. Upon hearing this, the other three showed a look of understanding. Zoro thought for a moment and made a suggestion, but, we only need to send one person to learn culinary skills, right? The rest of us can focus on training, right? It's obvious that whoever has the greatest demand for food is the most suitable. Usopp pointed at Luffy. That won't work. Luffy immediately exercised his veto power. He said, mainly, we don't even know who among us has talent in culinary skills. What if I'm just a culinary failure? Then it would be a waste of 3 months. If all four of us go to apply as chefs, even if our culinary talents are mediocre, we can at least pick out someone relatively decent after a month, right? Besides, we can learn culinary skills during work hours and train during off hours. Isn't that killing 2 birds with 1 stone? Seeing that the three still seemed to want to express their objections, Luffy suddenly revealed a big grin. Oh, by the way, I just thought of it. My Conqueror's Haki has made progress recently. The three rolled their eyes and immediately agreed to apply as chef apprentices. In the kitchen, so, you four are here to apply as chef apprentices? Zeph looked at the 1 big and 3 small figures in front of him, showing a hesitant expression. He rubbed his chin. Actually, we only need to hire 1 chef apprentice. At this moment, Buggy spoke up. Oh, that's not a problem. My 3 nephews and I came here out of admiration. We just want to learn culinary skills here and then go back to our hometown to open a restaurant. We don't need a salary, just provide us with food, and we have our own ship to live on. No salary? Just provide food? Don't even need accommodation? Great. Zeph's eyes immediately lit up. He immediately made a decision. Great. Welcome to join the Baratai, the floating restaurant. Usopp, haha. That old man from Sanji's family over there hasn't realized the seriousness of the situation yet. Vinsmoke Sanji, that old man over there. I can only silently pray that he don't vomit blood later. Zeph, does that brat really have such an exaggerated appetite? Roronoa Zoro, under normal circumstances, his appetite is several times that of an ordinary person. Zeph, what's the problem? Over there, I'm at least running a restaurant. Am I afraid I can't feed a few people? Roronoa Zoro, I haven't finished yet, but over there, Luffy is training every day. With training, Luffy's appetite usually increases tenfold. If he trains hard, that number will increase even more. Listening to Zoro's words, Zeph could only silently pray for himself over there. Ding! The top 3 winners of this quiz are Kojiki, Odin, Kuzan, and Brook. Congratulations to the 3 winners for receiving rewards. Congratulations to Kojiki Odin for winning a revival reward. Congratulations to Kuzan for winning a 5-year younger reward. Congratulations to Brook for winning Ghost Rider template reward. Rocks D, Xebec, damn it. Another revival. Gol D, Roger, hahaha. Odin. Congratulations, congratulations. Edward Newgate Odin, my brother, Roger and I are waiting for you at the Marine headquarters. Gururera. Odin's revival is great news for both Roger and Whitebeard. Kojiki Odin once stayed on Whitebeard's ship and was later borrowed by Roger. So, the relationship goes without saying, and Kojiki Odin's strength is recognized by both Whitebeard and Roger. With such a strong presence at the Marine headquarters, the balance of victory is definitely tilting heavily towards the Whitebeard Pirates. Shiki Roger revived, Kojiki Odin revived too. Does that mean, as long as someone who died gets a reward, they will definitely be revived first? Based on the current situation, this speculation instantly made Shiki's heart pound. If that's really the case, as long as he has a chance to snatch a correct answer, he can be revived. Rocks D, Xebec, that would be great if that's the case. damn it, I must revive. Tsuru, if Kojiki Odin revives, he will definitely come to the Marine headquarters to help Whitebeard and Roger. The current situation is not good for us Marines. Sengoku, indeed. But fortunately, Kyuzin also received a reward and became 15 years younger. Kyuzin, who is now at the peak of his strength, is already very close to the pinnacle. Kyuzin, don't worry. If the situation at the Marine headquarters is unclear, the world government won't sit idly by. Marine headquarters in front of the deck of the Moby Dick, with a golden light shining. Soon, Kojiki Odin's figure appeared next to Roger. He revived at the age of 38, which is his peak age. When Kojiki Odin appeared, the brows of the Marines present furrowed deeply. Kojiki Odin. In addition, the Red Hair Pirates, who are said to be near the Marine headquarters. Marine headquarters forces no longer have any advantage in this wave. Marshal D. Teach, Zehahaha. This is truly an unprecedented great war. For Blackbeard, the more chaotic the summit war is, the more opportunities he has to take advantage of the situation. Although he is greedy for Whitebeard's Quake fruit, however, if Whitebeard doesn't give him the opportunity, he would be willing to obtain Sengoku's Buddhaform mythical Zoan fruit. Ding! A special note is made because the Ghost Rider template comes from the another realm. Ghost Rider template, the Evil Spirit Knight's physique is a simplified version of the Evil Spirit Knight's physique, possessing 3 abilities, Hellfire, Chain Magic, and Soul Chariot. Borsalino Ghost Rider sounds quite scary, but why is it a simplified version of the ability? Kyuzin, perhaps the complete version is just too perverted. Basil Hawkins, this Brook seems to be the skeleton from the Straw Hat Pirates, right? Capone Beeg, yes. It seems that the rewards are somewhat related to the person's own circumstances. Trafalgar Law, indeed. My reward is related to my Devil Fruit ability, just like the Straw Hat Captain. Those old folks mostly become 15 years younger. And the dead are resurrected. Jewelry Bonnie, hey. Aren't you all interested in the abilities of this Ghost Rider? Hellfire sounds powerful. And what about that Soul Chariot? I want to know. Frankie Brook, how's your ability? Is it amazing? As one of the skull enthusiasts in the Straw Hat Pirates, Frankie is full of curiosity about the Ghost Rider ability. Monkey D, Luffy, yeah. What is Hellfire, Chain Magic, and Soul Chariot exactly? Luffy is also a curious baby. Brook, yo ho ho ho. This ability seems ridiculously strong. From the information I've obtained, Hellfire alone is terrifyingly powerful. It can not only burn everything, but as long as I don't want to harm something, Hellfire won't damage what I want. Tony Chopper, wow. That's great. So we can hide safely with you even if there's Hellfire around. Brook, yes, that's right. As for Chain Magic, it's my weapon, and the Soul Chariot is my mount, a super cool motorcycle. Nami-chan, do you want to ride on the back of my burning motorcycle and feel the wind? Vinsmoke Sanji, perverted skull head, go stay on the side. Nami, sure, I want to ride with Robin-chan. Vinsmoke Sanji, ah, no way. While the chat room is lively, the video in the red border continues to play the first day of the 4 apprentices. Zeph is smiling happily, having free labor is so comfortable. The second day of the 4 apprentices, Zeph pats Luffy's shoulder, kid, you can eat a lot. The third day of the 4 apprentices, Zeph's expression is a bit uncomfortable. The 7th day of the 4 apprentices, Zeph angrily lifts Luffy, who is crazily stuffing meat into his mouth, and shouts, you super glutton, you're officially fired. Chapter 58 Sengoku have the ability to show evidence. Gold, Roger, ha. I feel sorry for this old man. Trafalgar Law, look at the innocent expression on the Straw Hat's face, ha, it's hilarious. Eustace kid, are all those stacked bowls next to him for real? Capone Beeg, to be honest, I've never seen someone who can eat so much. Jewelry Bonnie, I thought I had an unbeatable appetite, but it turns out there's someone who can eat even more than me. Zeph, knowing myself, it only took me 7 days to go crazy over there. How much of a glutton can one be? Vinsmoke Sanji, you old man, be grateful you haven't experienced the terror of being controlled by Luffy's appetite. Zeph, so you have experienced it. Vinsmoke Sanji, once you get used to being controlled, it becomes a habit. When they saw Sanji's response, the people watching the screen all silently sympathized with Sanji. Hey, didn't we agree to be apprentices here and have our meals provided? Why aren't they keeping their word? On the back deck of the Baratai, Luffy had a face of grievance. You think you're the one being treated unfairly, huh? Zeph's eyes were filled with anger. He angrily said, damn it, you've eaten up all the ingredients I prepared for a month. Seeing Zeph's expression as if he wanted to eat someone, Luffy felt a bit guilty, so he squeezed out a smile and said, what should we do then? How about, I give you an extra 1,000 berries for every meal from now on. Zeph's face instantly wrinkled like the bark of a 100-year-old tree. 1,000 berries? Are you trying to bribe a beggar? First, he showed a face of disgust, then Zeph pulled Luffy to a corner and whispered, kid, I asked your uncle, and it turns out you're their captain. I'll discuss something with you. If you agree, I'll let you continue eating and drinking here for free. Okay, I agree. Luffy didn't even ask, he just agreed right away. If he could eat and drink for free here for 3 months, what couldn't he agree to? Don't you want to know what it is? Zeph widened his eyes in confusion. Ask now, tell me what it is. Zeph rolled his eyes and then solemnly said, you know who Sanji is, right? Luffy nodded, I know, he's the guy who doesn't wear a chef uniform. Zeph continued, yes, him. When you leave, take him with you. Ha! Luffy made a puzzled face, tapped his ear, and said, isn't he the chef on your ship? Why do you want to send him away? He has always wanted to set sail and find the all blue, the paradise all chefs dream of in the Grand Line, but because he's too sentimental, he doesn't want to leave me, and Zeph pointed to his missing leg and forced a smile, I can't continue sailing, but, I don't want that brat to be bound to this place because of me for the rest of his life. I hope he can continue pursuing his dream and set sail with my dream, to find the legendary all blue. Zeph looked at the distant horizon, and the image of his former self, full of spirit, appeared before his eyes once again. Setting sail, breaking through the waves with the wind. Luffy thought for a moment and understood. Uncle Zeph, I'm touched by the bond between you and Sanji, and I'm willing to help you. But, Sanji's own thoughts are also important. I can't. I'll add 18 chicken legs to every meal for you. Deal. One old, one young, exchange a knowing smile. Put. The audience watching this scene collectively burst into laughter. Vinsmoke Sanji, that bastard Luffy over there. Did he bribe you with 18 chicken legs? You damn bastard. Nami, ha ha ha. That's so Luffy. Trafalgar Law, the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates. I thought you respected Sanji's thought as the crewmate, but it seems, Rorono Zoro, that Zeph over there is just too carefree. If he added an extra chicken leg to every meal, Luffy might have given in Usopp. That's right, at most 2 chicken legs, I promise. 3 months passed quickly. Zeph found Luffy and quietly reminded him, Luffy, the 3-month deadline has arrived. Luffy, reluctantly sucking on a chicken leg bone, said softly, how about waiting another 3 months? Upon hearing this, Zeph's eyes instantly darkened. No, we can't wait even one more day. It's only been 3 months, and my little treasure trove has already shrunk by a third because of you eating. If it's another 3 months, never mind whether my little treasure trove can withstand it. One thing is for sure, my heart definitely won't be able to handle it. Damn it, this guy is a real bottomless pit. Well then, okay. Luffy looked outside pitifully and asked, are the food all packed for me? Zeph coldly snorted, don't worry, you little brat won't be short of it. 500 chicken legs, 1,000 smoked fish, and various kinds of sea creature meat. I've spared no expense, so you must make sure to bring Sanji. When Luffy arrived at the front hall of Baratai, Zoro, Usopp, and Buggy were already waiting here. After 3 months of apprenticeship, Usopp's culinary talent turned out to be the most outstanding, barely obtaining a junior chef qualification from Zeph. As for the other 3, let's not mention them. Although reluctant, Sanji bid farewell to Luffy and the others. During these 3 months, perhaps due to their similar ages, Sanji got along very well with Luffy, Zoro, and Usopp. After closing time every day, he would also go to the Going Merry with them to train. Even his armament haki has reached a certain threshold now, he has to say goodbye to these newly made friends, and Sanji's heart is inevitably filled with sadness. At this moment, Zeph walked out from behind, holding a thick rope in his hand. Sanji frowned, old man, today is a farewell, why did you bring a rope? Of course, it's useful. Zeph smirked and handed the rope to Luffy. Luffy took the rope and revealed a big grin. Splash. Conqueror's haki suddenly released. Sanji's eyes rolled back, and he fell to the ground. Zoro, Usopp. Luffy shouted and handed the rope over. Understood. Zoro took the rope and skillfully went up. Usopp hesitated. Why does this scene feel familiar? However, when he started tying up Sanji together with Zoro, Usopp was surprised to find that doing this kind of thing was quite enjoyable. Soon, the two of them lifted Sanji up like a piece of wood. Uncle Zeph, goodbye. Goodbye, take care of Sanji for us. Don't worry, bye-bye. The screen with the red border gradually dimmed. Vinsmoke Sanji, damn green seaweed head, are you a kidnapper over there? Getting addicted to tying people up. Rorono Zoro, this is just like the bounty hunter days, practice makes perfect. Usopp over there, I went from being tied up to tying people up. Shiki, gradually turning into a detestable appearance, Kak. Nami, but speaking of which, that red border Luffy over there is so smooth in commanding others, more like a captain than our Luffy. Nico Robin, has anyone counted how many chicken's legs Sanji is worth? Tony Chopper, 18 chicken legs a day, for 3 months, that's 1,620 chicken legs. Brook, no, before leaving, Zeph also gave 500 chicken legs and 1,000 smoked fish. If we only count the chicken legs, Sanji is worth 2,120 chicken legs. Rorono Zoro, so from now on, Sanji has a new name, the 2,000 chicken legs man. Monkey D, Luffy, 2,000 chicken legs man. Vinsmoke Sanji, hey. You bastards. Not long after the screen with the white border gradually brightened, the Straw Hat Pirates arrived in Kokoyashi village in batches. After a series of coincidences, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp finally reunited, along with Johnny and Yusaku. Finally, they waited for Nami on the road that leads to Nami's house. Seeing Luffy and his group appear, Nami stopped in her tracks, crossed her arms in front of her, spread her right leg, and looked at everyone with a cold gaze. What are you here for? Luffy got up from the ground, put on his straw hat, and casually said, what are you talking about? You're our crewmate, of course we're here to take you back. Crewmate? A smirk appeared at the corner of Nami's mouth as she sneered, that's really hilarious, it's just a boring alliance, isn't it? As soon as these words came out, Luffy's face froze. Sanji excitedly waved at Nami, hey, Miss Nami, it's me, do you remember me? Let's go on an adventure together. Johnny quickly reminded, hey, didn't I tell you? This guy is a witch. He's part of the Arlong Pirates. Zoro also told Sanji to shut up, and as a result, the two of them started arguing. You guys, stop acting all high and mighty. I'm only interested in the money on you, and right now, I have absolutely no interest in any of you. Leave this island immediately and find your own navigator to search for some great treasure. Nami's tone was heavy and full of disdain. However, Luffy just lay down on the ground. After that, Yusaku and Johnny didn't want to provoke the Arlong Pirates, so they left first. When Nami left, Nojiko appeared and told the Straw Hat Pirates about Nami's past, but Luffy didn't want to listen and left directly. Zoro fell asleep halfway through. Only Sanji and Usopp listened with great interest. So, starting from the day 8 years ago, she never cried again, nor did she seek help from anyone, because she didn't want to see innocent victims like our mother being killed by the Arlong anymore. For the sake of this trade that can save the village, that's why she was willing to join forces with someone who killed her own family. Now, she's almost saved up 100 million berries and is about to buy back the village from Arlong. If at this time, because of you, Arlong suspects something, then all her efforts of the past 8 years will be in vain. For her, enduring everything on her own is indeed very difficult, but it is even more painful for you guys, who call yourselves her companions, to appear here. So, please don't interfere with her affairs, don't make her suffer anymore. Trafalgar Law. Nami, the navigator, actually experienced such a tragic childhood? Tony Chopper. Nami, I feel so sorry for Nami. Sob. Frankie, damn it. Those fishmen are bastards. Jinbei, it's Arlong, damn it, he actually did such a despicable thing, that bastard. When Jinbei joined the Shishibukai, he made several conditions to the Marines, one of which was to request the release of the fishman prisoner, Arlong. Even though it was initially based on the camaraderie he had with the Arlong when they were on the same ship, he never expected that his decision would cause so much harm to humans. Jewelry Bonnie, it's really infuriating. Where is the Marine at a time like this? Sakazuki, you idiot. The Marines are not ignorant of everything. The news of what happened in such a remote place was blocked by those fishmen. How could the Marine possibly know? Sengoku, if the Marine knew about this, they definitely wouldn't just sit idly by. Tsuru, the Marine represents justice, and pirates represent evil. Isn't that self-explanatory? Rox D, Xebec, ha. Damn it, when it comes to shamelessness, I admire you old folks. Shiki, kakahaha. That's absolutely right. Sengoku, humph. What's the big deal about slandering others? Show some evidence if you have any. Otherwise, shut your dog mouths. While Nojiko was telling Sanji and Usopp about Nami's situation, Luffy wandered alone into the village. At this moment, a group of Marine soldiers led by Captain Nezumi appeared. As soon as this group of Marine soldiers appeared, the chat room exploded. Smoker, huh? What's going on? Why are there Marines here? Just now, from Nojiko account, the viewers learned that dozens of villages around here have been under the rule of the Arlong Pirates for 8 years. According to what Fleet Admiral Sengoku said, the Marines must not know about the situation here, otherwise they would never allow these pirates to continue their evil deeds. However, at this moment, Marines appeared in Kokoyasi village, and it was Marines led by a Marine branch captain. Smoker's breathing suddenly became rapid. Could it be? Thinking of that possibility, Smoker felt his anger rise. Hina, this can't be. Something's not right with these Marines appearing here. Jun, what on earth is going on? Gold, Roger, ha. Sengoku, you wanted evidence, right? Well, here it is. Shiki, kakahaha. Chapter 59. That year, the Straw Hat Pirates acted like a pirate. Marine Headquarters Marineford. Sengoku's face is red with anger. When the Straw Hat Pirates defeated the Arlong Pirates in Kokoyasi village and took care of Captain Nezumi, this information was only reported after being filtered by Captain Nezumi himself. He only mentioned the fact that the Straw Hat Pirates eliminated the Arlong Pirates, without saying a word about the dirty dealings between him and the Arlong Pirates. So, Sengoku was also kept in the dark about this matter. Otherwise, even if Sengoku was foolish, he wouldn't stupidly offer his face to be slapped like this. Edward Newgate, Sengoku, what's going on? I've never seen such a quick and devastating face slap. You really opened my eyes, Gurururara. Marco, ha. This is really hilarious. Charlotte Linlin, the screen is so interesting. Sengoku, you idiot, you really asked for trouble. Monkey D, Dragon, is this the Marine that represents justice in your mouth? Monkey D, Garp, shut up, you bastard. Sengoku, Nezumi, get out here. I need an explanation. Nezumi, Admiral, I don't know what happened either. Maybe this screen is deceiving us. Nezumi is feeling anxious at this moment. He concealed and did not report this matter before, and took the opportunity to smear the Straw Hat Pirates. It can be said, Luffy being worth 30 million berries before leaving East Blue, Captain Nezumi is at least half responsible for it. Sengoku, you damn thing. After this event is over, you better come to Marine Headquarters and explain it to me in person. Damn it. Sengoku already has a basic understanding of the actual situation. Edward Newgate, the event is over? Dream on. Do you think Marine Headquarters can still exist after the event? Sengoku, stop talking nonsense. It's just that there's one more Roger and one more Kojiki Oden, which directly enhances your strength. I'll let you bunch of monsters see the power of the dragon robe when the time comes. Humph. Gold, Roger, such arrogance. Why don't you blow yourself up with your own words? Buggy, Captain, don't worry, I'm already on my way to the Marine headquarters, and my dead bone pulse is unimaginably powerful. The video continues to play. Captain Nezumi and his group arrive at Nami's residence. Nami is outside, leaning against the wall, silently calculating how much money she has saved. It's about time to set off. After this last theft, I should have enough money this time. With hope shining in her eyes, Nami's face is filled with a sweet smile. Just as she was about to leave, Captain Nezumi's voice came, squeak squeak squeak, IMCA.